All right, let's get this thing started again. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And if you like this live stream, don't forget as you come in, hit that like button. Or at the end, or if you catch it on the replay, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And we do this about 2 to 3 times a week. We do Cowboys After Hours. So please do so you know the next time we do this. And if you haven't become a subscriber already, or become a member, please do. We have a lot of great things coming in the future. All right, so let's get this thing started tonight. We're going to talk Cowboys for a couple of hours. For those of you who like to stay up late, whether you are at your job or whether you're at your house, get your coffee ready. We are about to talk Cowboys. And again, I think I got some pretty good subjects for tonight. There are a couple of things that have come down since the last time we did a live stream, which was yesterday, but we called it last night, or we call it today, but let's go. So these are the subjects we're going to talk about today. And the one that's going to be top of the list is Kyle Pitts to the Cowboys. Kyle Pitts to the Cowboys. We're also going to look at an article real quick that Russell Wilson had some comments about George Pickens. And I think it's very cool that he had some comments about George Pickens. Then we're going to talk about Jay Toya. Can he be a run stopper for the Cowboys? We're going to look at that. And then we're going to cover a story that we didn't get a chance to cover earlier today, and I actually wanted to cover it yesterday. I didn't get a chance to. But we're going to talk about the Joe Milton rank. How are they ranking Joe Milton? And I'm going to give us some insight on this. All right, y'all stay tuned. Hold on, give me a second here. Yeah, we're going to talk about this thing with Joe Milton. And I think it's very significant. And I'm going to give us some insight. I'm going to give us some insight on this thing with Joe Milton. And so, whether it be 10 or 10,000, we're going to talk Cowboys. So, let's get this thing started. All right, we're going to keep it simple tonight. We only got a couple, as far as I can see in the chat. We got a couple that I can see, so we're going to, rather than do our roll call, we'll just greet our two. We have Lost in Translation. What's going on? He said, I hope so. And then Rufus, the Texridian Dodd, what's going on? He said, I like this new attitude the players have. Yes, I am with you. My man Mike McCain up in the crib, what's going on? Let's get this thing happening. Yeah, let's get it crack-a-lacking, as we say back in the day. All right, okay, we got people coming in now. All right, I might have to do a little bit of I have to do some of my music, but you know what? We're gonna get it going tonight. It's late night. Let's go. All right. Robert Simmons in the crib. What's up with you? My sister Angie, the Rebel Chicks. Let's go. What's going on? Good to see you tonight. Yeah, I'm a night owl. Angie, in case you didn't know. Gene Martz, West Virginia in the house. What's going on with you? Lamar Jones in the house. What's going on? Good to see you. He said, I love Ferg, but Pitts would go crazy in this offense. I totally agree with you. He would actually go banana bunkers in this thing, man. He really would. All right, let's go. I got the hook up in here. What's going on? All right, let's go. All right, let me let y'all in on my topics again for tonight. These will be the topics for tonight. Looking forward to seeing what y'all have to say about this in the chat. But again, we're going to be talking about Pitts to the Cowboys. We're going to spend a little time on this. Wilson on Pickens. Wilson talks about George Pickens. Jay Toya, can he be the run stopper the Cowboys are looking for? And then we're going to finish it out with the Joe Milton rank. And then we'll conclude. And then y'all can go to bed or whatever you do late at night. All right. Again, Mike McCain, he said, be careful, G. You're going to go from 20 in the chat to 100 in the chat in like 5 minutes. Yes, sir. I hope so. Aztec in the crib. Yeah, night owls. Let's go. All right, let's get this thing going again. All right. So, let's pull this article up about Kyle Pitts. Man, this, I don't know if there's smoke here. Here we go. I mean, I guess there's some smoke because this thing is catching fire. This thing is catching some serious fire. And it's one of those things where I just really won't believe it until I see it. I mean, because y'all think about this. Man, I may be going crazy, but I know I've heard Kyle pitch to the Cowboys at least for 2 years. I know I'm not going crazy about this thing about it's like every year, every offseason, here come the Kyle Pitts story. I believe it when I see it. Robert Simmons, he said, I heard that Michael Irvin been coaching George Pickens. I'll tell you who else been working with him. Chad Ochocinco made it. I don't know if he's working with him as a player, but he's definitely working with him with his attitude. What's going on, Danny? What's going on, Danny? Dallas Cowboys, Lakers, let's go. Yes, sir. Congratulations on that graduation. He said next summer, summertime in June of 2026, I'm graduating from Santa Monica College. Yeah. Associates in business, then transferring to Cal State, Long Beach to get my bachelor's degree in business. Yes. Yes. Congratulations. All right, Lisa Worley, what's going on? Mr. Smooth 152. Let's go. All right. Solomon Jernigan in the crib. What up? What up? All right, and I'm telling you, man, it's like every year, Kyle Pitts to, let me see something here. It seems like every year we hear this thing about Kyle Pitts coming to the Cowboys. Let me see here. So I'm just pulling up the AI on this because it would be hard to probably find these articles. But I'm telling you, when you look at the AI on this before we look at the article, look at this right here. I knew I was not going crazy. This is always a conversation with the Cowboys. Look at this. In the offseason of 2023, trade rumors involving Kyle Pitts and the Dallas Cowboys circulated, but no trade was completed. While the Cowboys were potential landing spots for Pitts, multiple reports indicated that the Atlanta Falcons would prefer to retain him. This is the same thing they're saying today. they're saying the same thing today about Kyle Pitts. So it's like Kyle Pitts is always coming up to the Cowboys. And oh, for real. It's like every time somebody they talking about getting cut or being on the trade market, the first team they bring up, they're tied to the Cowboys, trade to the Cowboys. Cowboys may pick them up. Cowboys should pick them up. I'm like, man, I really believe people do this to bring attention to these players. It's like their agents say, hey, we need to really bring some attention to you and get some teams interested. I know we'll do. We'll say the Cowboys are involved. Man, it's like they attach the Cowboys' name to all this stuff. And so let's pull up this article on Kyle Pitts. The Bleacher Report. The Bleacher Report is talking about this thing with Kyle Pitts and talking about the trade packages. Now, the thing that's really got me saying I'll believe it when I see it is simply because, man, the Cowboys just gave up a third rounder for George Pickens, man. They just gave up a third rounder for George Pickens. I mean, what you gonna do? Are the Cowboys gonna basically trade their entire draft away? I mean, I know we don't like fourth round draft picks. I'm used to us giving those away. George Pickens is, if he turns out the way that he should, a third rounder ain't nothing for George Pickens. It sounds like that the Falcons aren't even going to bite on this, at least from what I'm hearing. They're not even going to bite on a trade unless it's a second round pick. But now, we have to understand something with Kyle Pitts. You know, as we get into this discussion about Kyle Pitts, we'll have to understand something about him. If you get Kyle Pitts as a tight end, you're going to have to understand that he's not that great of a blocker from what my understanding is. Now, what you're getting Kyle Pitts for is just strictly straight up, and let's just call it what it is. You're getting a big play tight end. That's what you're getting. He may help you. He's not going to be what I would call an asset in the run game. He's not going to be an asset in the run game unless he's running out as a decoy. But he's dynamic. And I think his issue has been he just hasn't had the quarterback and the scheme. I just don't think Kirk Cousins has been the quarterback for him. He needs a quarterback that's going to throw it to him especially up them seams. Man, a dude like this would tear the seams up, man. I'll be honest with you. Boy, man, it would be hard for me to pass up Kyle Pitts. I mean, but I would have to understand what I'm getting. I really would have to understand what I'm getting with Kyle Pitts. I'm really just looking at him as really a wide receiver. I'm looking at him as a wide receiver lining up at the tight end spot. That's really what I'm looking at. Let me check out some of you guys' comments on this. Ed, you got me rolling in the chat already. Let me see. Mike McCain said, does Dallas Cowboys media spin the reason why they don't trust Ferguson at all? Boy. And you know what, Mike McCain? Oh, I thought about that too. What is this saying? What is this saying to Jake Ferguson? Now, I do see a world where Jake Ferguson and Kyle Pitts could exist on the same team. But, man, how many passes are you going to have to go around? I mean, really? How are you going to get everybody the ball? Don't get me wrong, I don't mind having those kind of problems. But I'm just saying, boy, it ain't that many to go around. Lost in Translation said they can pick up a fifth for Pitts. Might be able to. But I'm telling you, ooh, boy. Angie said we don't need another tight end. Honestly, Angie, Kyle Pitts is not a tight end that you get, at least, he's not a tight end to me that you get because you need a traditional tight end. He's not the kind of tight end, Angie, that I'm saying, yeah, we need to get us a tight end because, you know, we need somebody that when we run sweeps, we need somebody to be able to block, or we need somebody to be able to block on the ends, you know, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's one of these type of tight ends, Angie. He's one of these guys that he is so talented, at least in my opinion. I think he's so talented that you don't get him just because you need him. He's one of these guys you get because he's so talented you want him. You know, even if you got tight ends, you got like, man, somebody is expendable. Somebody's expendable. We got to get this guy on the team. So, Angie, let me ask you this. Would you rather have him than Schoonmaker? Would you rather have him than Schoonmaker? Backing up Jake Ferguson or rotating with Jake Ferguson? Because I'm telling you, I'd take Kyle Pitts. I would definitely take him. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Schoonmaker. He's been a little slow developing, you know, especially as high as they drafted him. But he's been a little, you know, but I like Schoonmaker for the most part. I think he's going to continue to make a couple of steps over the next couple of years. You know, I think the Cowboys got him on a 4-year deal. Third year, I think he'll take another step. At least he better. He'll take another step, and then next year he'll take another step on a contract year if he makes it that far. But I'll tell you this, it wouldn't be so much about me getting rid of Jake Ferguson. I would bring him. I would take him over Schoonmaker. I really would. I'd take him over Schoonmaker. Now let's look at this real quick. And for anybody who may be has followed any of this story with Kirk Cousins, I'm confused on the Kirk Cousins story. I mean, I really feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone with the Kirk Cousins story. I thought the Atlanta Falcons cut Kirk Cousins last year. I thought they cut Kirk Cousins. And I guess Kirk Cousins is still on the team. I've been hearing people talking about Kirk Cousins didn't show up to OTAs. I'm like, okay, am I in the Twilight Zone? I thought the Falcons pretty much cut Kirk Cousins, but I digress. It says Kirk Cousins has been the subject of trade speculation throughout the offseason and is probably the first name that comes to mind when a potential Falcons trade is mentioned. I'm missing it on the Kirk Cousins thing. I thought he got cut last year. But I guess I guess they set him down. I thought he was cut. It says, however, we're now talking about tight end Kyle Pitts, who was a rookie Pro Bowler in 2021, but has been underutilized since and is now entering the final year of his rookie contract. I'm telling us, all I continue to, I mean, it's like every year it seems like, man, it's like this thing with Kyle Pitts comes up. But I guess now the Atlanta Falcons, I think they're really trying to make a move on him. It says, according to Fox Sports, Jordan Schultz, Multiple teams have reached out to gauge Pitt's availability, but the Falcons prefer to keep the 24-year-old tight end. That's the same story I read to you in 23. It was this 2023. It was the same thing. It was the same thing. But I tell you what I tell you what Atlanta's trying to do. I think they will move him. They just don't want to move him for, as Lost in Translation said, they don't want to move him for a fifth. I think that's what the issue is. Reginald Jackson said Falcons said they are not going to trade him, but they will listen to offers. Yeah, Reginald Jackson. They trying to get a high draft pick. They're trying to get a high draft pick. I don't think they're thinking about no doggone fifth round draft pick, sixth round. They trying to get a third, second or third. I don't even think a fourth is in the conversation. I think they're trying to get a second or a third. And I'll be honest with you, man, Kyle Pitts is pretty talented. I believe on another team, boy, Kyle Pitts would, man, especially when you talk about a quarterback like Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, guys like that who like to throw the tight ends. Boy, he would be nice. The issue is I think they're trying to get too much for him. It says, while Atlanta may prefer to keep Pitts, it could be intrigued by the right offer. He's scheduled to be a free agent next season and is set to make $10.9 million on the fifth-year option. The Falcons, meanwhile, have just 5.3. Wait a minute, hold on a second now. Is this thing saying that the Atlanta Falcons only have $5.3 million of cap space, man? It says the Falcons have just $5.3 million in cap space and can use added financial flexibility if they hope to make additional moves for week one. With this in mind, let's examine some logical suitors for Pitts and some hypothetical trade packages that just might get Atlanta's attention. Come on, man. Man, you got $5.3 million in cap space. Man, they're going to have to cut somebody. They are going to have to cut somebody. And see, this is where teams can really put Atlanta in a chokehold. Let me see something here. See, the issue is Kirk Cousins' contract. I thought they had cut him. Yeah, the issue here is Kirk Cousins' contract. I like I said, I'm missing something here. Let's see. Kirk Cousins is more than likely. Man, look at this dude contract. Golly. Look at this contract, boy. Man, look at this contract. They extend the dude and then go and draft a quarterback. This dude is going to kill them. Potential out 2026. Man, let's look at the thing. Look at this. God, woo. Look at this, man. Atlanta have put themselves in a chokehold. And I guess when I'm thinking back, they must have set Kirk Cousins down because I know they wanted the quarterback to, the quarterback that they drafted to be the starter, but I thought they were sitting him. I thought they were cutting him. I thought they were cutting him. So I don't know what this stuff is with Atlanta, but a pre-June 1st release, he hit you for $35 million. You get a pre-June 1st trade, he hit you for 37. You're still going to have 37.5 in dead cap space. You save $25 million. If he's a post-June 1st cut, this dude hit you for a dead cap hit of $50 million in 2025 and a dead cap hit of $25 million in 2026. You negative $10 million on this dude. Golly, boy. Ooh-wee. Got him in a chokehold. Man, they ain't gonna be able to afford to do anything with they're not gonna be able to do anything with Kyle Pitts. Cause see, This is exactly right. Their potential out is 2026. Man, we're talking about a whole nother season. We are talking about an entire nother season. Golly, boy. This contract is crazy the way they did this. Atlanta, whoever their GM, whoever does their financials, need to be fired. Just needs to be fired. I'm sorry. You know what? I understand them drafting Michael Penix Jr. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all tell me what y'all think on this. Man, it'd be hard for me not to be playing Kirk Cousins. Boy, it would be hard for me not to be playing. I mean, I guess you're just saying we got Michael Penix Jr. on a rookie deal. So while we got him on a rookie deal, we're going to be held here. We're going to be held hostage by Kirk Cousins' contract. We can't cut him until 2026, and he's still going to murder us on the way out the door. So I guess it'll be just right on time so that when we do get ready to do Michael Penix Jr.'s contract in 2027, 2028, I guess we'll finally be from up under Kirk. But golly, this is crazy. Man, let me tell you something. They might as well stop playing. They might as well stop playing, man. Go on trade Michael Pitts. You're not gonna be able to re-sign him. go ahead and try to trade him, man. Go on and trade him. Yeah, lost in translation. The scene would be unstoppable. They would beg for CD and Pickens to touch the ball. Yeah. See, that's why you want him. This dude is talented. He really is very, very talented. He is the type of tight end. You don't necessarily get him, Angie, because you need a tight end. But if that joker is out there and you can get him, hey, you bring him in. I do say you bring him in. You bring that joker in. You do not let Kyle Pitts. Angie, this is one of the moves I was talking about yesterday. Yesterday. Well, I guess it was the day before yesterday. Now, this is one of the moves, Angie, where you say, okay, we got a pretty good team. Or we got a great team. What'll put us over the top? These are those over-the-top moves. These are those over-the-top moves right here. I'll take him over Schoonmaker any day of the week. Otis Main said, what up, G? He said, no one Pitts, he doesn't fit into the physical culture we are trying to establish. Now, that's why I said before, Otis, appreciate you being here tonight. What's going on with you? Kyle Pitts, you would have to understand when you get him, you're not looking at him as a tight end in your run game. That is not what you're getting Kyle Pitts for. You're getting Kyle Pitts to be a receiver in your passing game. That's what you're getting him for. He's not your traditional tight end. And I guarantee you there's narrowly a linebacker. There's narrowly a linebacker in the league that could line up with him. And I guarantee you there are not many safeties. Lisa Worley, again, he's not a tight end you get because you need him. You get him because you want him. Yeah, you get him because you want him. And Reginald Jackson, I believe you're right. And I believe that's why the Cowboys won't get him. See, I'm telling us, this dude is good. And don't worry, y'all saying no, don't worry. Other teams are going to put us out of our misery. This dude is better than I'm telling us, this dude is good. He really is. And I would take him. I probably would take him over Schoonmaker. I'd take him over Schoonmaker. I would. Turkey said, heck no. Heck no, he says. Angie says, I hate to say it, but Schoon looked better, especially last year. He did. Schoonmaker made a step. And he going to make a step this year, Angie. Schoonmaker is going to make a step. Schoonmaker is a solid tight end with the potential to be a really good tight end. Yeah, he going to make a step. But I'm telling us, the Cowboys are going to think about Kyle Pitts, which I think they're already thinking about him. At least I assume they're thinking about him because the Cowboys' name, just like in 2023, the Cowboys' name is attached to Kyle Pitts. But Kyle Pitts is the truth. He is. He's the truth. I got the hookup. What's going on with you? He said we need more on the defensive side than a tight end, but Pitts is definitely an upgrade. Oh yeah. Yeah, he a serious upgrade. And I'll tell you this, y'all talking about we don't want him. Them doggone Philadelphia Eagles wind up getting him, boy, we going to be crying. Boy, we gonna be crying. We gonna be crying if Philadelphia get him. We are going to be crying if Philadelphia get him. I'm telling y'all, this dude is good. He's good. And again, Kyle Pitts to me is not a tight end you get because you need him. No, you get him because you understand the talent that he is. That's why you get Kyle Pitts. And if you can get him, and again, because we don't need him, I'm not saying you give up a second round or anything like that. But if you can get that joker for a fifth, nah, you got to think hard on it. You got to think hard on it. Lisa, well, you said you think Ramsey makes more sense than Pitts. Well, you got to understand that Kyle Pitts, he's younger. He's way younger. And he is not going to hit you in the pockets like Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey to me is a pipe dream for the Cowboys. I mean, Jalen Ramsey. There are a lot of people who are saying, I've been hearing some analysts talk about Jalen Ramsey, 30 years old, the money he's owed. A lot of people are saying no thank you on Jalen Ramsey. And I don't think the Cowboys are going to get Jalen Ramsey. I don't think the Cowboys want to commit that kind of money to Jalen Ramsey. I mean, you're literally talking $21 million to Jalen Ramsey. And I haven't heard any other way people can work that contract. So, yeah, you're not going to spend that on Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey is a little too, especially if you're talking about cornerback. And even if you're talking about safety, I don't know. He's definitely not playing cornerback for you. Jalen Ramsey, I am telling us, go back and look at some tape. Don't get me wrong. People will show you his stats, and it's not that he doesn't play good. But he's not the cornerback that he used to be, for sure. Especially when you're talking about that money that he's looking at bringing in. I don't think the Cowboys are going to do it. And Lisa, you think about it. Kyle Pitts is only 24. You get Kyle Pitts, you're not getting a tight end that's old, injured tight end. No, you're bringing in a 24-year-old tight end who, we're not even talking about upside. This dude is an absolute monster. Kyle Pitts is an absolute monster. And I do think he's going to be attractive for some teams. I do think he's going to be attractive for some teams. I don't know if we do it, but he is going to be attractive for some teams. I mean, let's see here. I can tell us up front, this contract right here, he's well worth this contract. $10 million. Kyle Pitts is a steal. This tight end is a steal for $10 million. I'm telling us he's that good. I definitely want to see, again, I believe it when I see it as it pertains to the Cowboys, but yeah, I think there are going to be a lot of suitors for him. Let me read some of your comments, and then but I'm telling you, y'all don't have to worry. There will be a lot of suitors for him. Angie, shoot, that money cousins, that money first cousins, Shannon Sharp used to call him Kirk Cousins. Shoot, that money first cousins about to get, he ain't finna retire. He got Atlanta in a chokehold. I don't know who worked that deal out. I thought the deal was crazy, Angie. Dude coming off an Achilles, and that's the deal he got? Wow. 120 mil guaranteed, or 100. Whoever worked that deal, boy, they need to be drug tested. I'm not giving Kirk Cousins coming off an Achilles that kind of deal. If I'd have been the owner and my general managers would have told me they were drafting Michael Penix Jr. and we got Kirk Cousins, we finna have a serious conversation. Nah, bruh. You better get something up in here that can work with Kirk Cousins, or you better go out there and build a defense, or, we better figure out how we're going to get this dang on salary cap figured out to get some players. But we're not throwing away this money on Kirk Cousins. Y'all convinced me to sign him. Now you want to go get another quarterback. Man, that's crazy. Morris Newton in the crib, he said, We need to go get him. We need to go get him. Superstar said, "What's up, chat? Salute." Reginald Jackson said, "True." Lamar said, "If I had a choice, Pitts or DJ from the Lions." Oh no, now we ain't going there, Lamar. Now we got to choose between Kyle Pitts and DJ Reader. That's not even the conversation. Shoot, man, that's not even the conversation. We not even having a conversation if it's about between DJ Reader and Kyle Pitts. But the thing is, with as small as his contract is, you could probably get both of them. And again, let me say this too. I also think it all depends on what you're trying to achieve. Because if you're trying to achieve, let's just say you say, hey, we want to go to Super Bowl this year. I would definitely think about bringing Kyle Pitts on. I would definitely think about bringing Kyle Pitts on. If I said I want a Super Bowl this season, yeah, I'm talking about Kyle Pitts. I'm telling this Kyle Pitts is, man, I'm telling you, this dude is that talented. He's that talented. Lost in Translation, a podcast said they better think. He said they better tank. They can't give us something that you don't want. Let them pay him. Hey, man, Atlanta, boy, they in the chokehold with Kirk Cousins. They might as well trade him because they can't pay him next year. They can't pay him next year. What they gonna do with him? They can't pay him. Robert Simmons, I heard this talk too. He'll send Kirk Cousins to Pittsburgh. Yeah, I heard that too. And let Michael Penix Jr. start. And he's already the starter. And so Kirk Cousins didn't show up to OTAs. Now I understand what they're talking about. I thought he was cut, but they said he didn't show up to OTAs. So since he didn't show up to OTAs, I'm pretty sure what's going to happen, Kirk Cousins is probably going to force Atlanta to trade him. Kirk Cousins said, I'm too old to be sitting on the bench, and I actually believe I'm a starter. Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have to choose between Kirk Cousins and the Himalayan monk, Aaron Rodgers. And I don't know, man. Aaron Rodgers, he also came off that Achilles. And Aaron Rodgers, they've been moving the same. Angie said, definitely need to focus on defense, not offense. Now, think about this. Kyle Pitts is cheap enough. You can get him and DJ Reader. Kyle Pitts will not stop you from getting DJ Reader. That contract is too cheap. I mean, you're talking about $10 million. Yeah, that ain't going to stop you from getting DJ Reader. Like I said, he's just one of those pieces to me that if you can get him, if you can get him on a very good deal, Pitts is an upgrade. Kyle Pitts is a crazy upgrade. No doubt about it. He's a crazy upgrade. And I know we don't see it now. Now, that boy Kyle Pitts is a crazy upgrade. And you can get him and DJ Reader. $10 million for him? Man, him? Yeah, I would. I'm telling you, I would. Mike McCain said if the Falcons think they're going to get a high draft pick out of Kyle Pitts, Patrick, they're crazy. He's not worth more than a fourth-round pick. Yeah, now, you're hitting it on the head with the statistics, Mike McCain. With the statistics he has. But I do say it all depends on the team. With the talent he has, I'm going to tell you, I'd wait him out. I would definitely wait him out. And if people start talking about 6th-round draft picks for him, man, I'd definitely, let me throw you a 5th in there. Let me throw a 5th in there. I'll get him. I'd definitely get him with a 5th. Reginald Jackson said if we get him, he's going to come off the bench or be used when they do 2 tight end packages. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm telling you, he nasty. Yeah, he nasty. Mike McCain said, gee, when you read that, don't put the word Patrick. Oh, okay, I got in there. And don't know how I got it in there. Somebody in my room said the name when I voiced it in. I got you. No problem. Lost in Translation said, as a matter of fact, they're going to get his 6th-round pick. They are going to get this 6th-round pick, and we will pick up half his contract, throw in some varsity, and they got a deal. Man, I'm telling you. Y'all would change your mind on Kyle Pitts if we got him. Man, Lisa Word, I think Reader and Ramsey makes more sense. No, this has nothing to do with Reader. And really, Lisa, it really has nothing to do with Reader and Ramsey. Kyle Pitts' contract is so cheap. For the talent level, I believe. Kyle Pitts, for $10 million, you still get DJ Reader. The Cowboys are going to sign Micah Parsons. When the Cowboys sign Michael Parsons, they're going to free up, I think, about another $12 million in salary cap room. So that's going to give the Cowboys even more money to play with. And then if they were to do, just for the sake of argument, I think Donovan Wilson, you do a post June 1st on Donovan Wilson, you're going to save some millions. You do a post June 1st on Terrence Steele, you definitely going to save some millions. The Cowboys could easily get that money to get him, and you wouldn't even have to worry about DJ Reader. And I don't think the Cowboys are going to mess around with Ramsey. I don't think they're going to mess around with Ramsey because I think in the Cowboys' mind, they want some of these things to be solved on their own team. Why, because if Ramsey comes in, I do not believe he plays cornerback for us. Ramsey comes in, he's probably going to try to get in the safety spot. But you got Marquise Bell, you got Wanye Thomas. I don't think Jalen Ramsey is going to be a conversation for the Cowboys at all. Boy, Reginald Jackson, boy, Cousins finessed the heck out of the league. Boy, didn't he, though. Man, this dude at home right now with his feet kicked up with a pina colada. Sure. My sister, Angie the Rebel Chick, she said hit that like button, over 100 people watching. Let's do it. Y'all hit that like button. Let's do this. Mike McCain said they gave him that contract immediately before the draft and then drafted a quarterback and then benched him with all the money on the table. The Falcons don't know ball. Mike McCain, I'm firing those men. I am firing those men. This had to be one of the dumbest moves. I don't care how they explain it. I'm firing these jokers. Lisa said hit that like button. I agree. I'm firing them for that Kirk Cousins contract. Superstar said bad on picks would be nice in our offense, though. What would y'all offer Atlanta for him if y'all were the GM? So, see, that's where I am, Superstar. I want to see what everyone else is. I want to see first what Atlanta is, what Atlanta is offering. What Atlanta is wanting. Then I want to see who's going to be willing to give it to him. And then as I watch people not give it to him, same thing happened with Joe Milton III. The New England Patriots wanted a third-round pick for Joe Milton. Couldn't get it. Everybody waited, and the Cowboys were able to get him. So what you do, you just kind of wait it out. And if I'm the Cowboys, which I can tell us now, y'all, you're not going to have to worry about Kyle Pitts. If he's going to be truly out there, there are teams that are absolutely going to be able to use this dude because I think Kyle Pitts, with the right quarterback and the right system, he is definitely going to be a franchise tight end. And so they're talking about the New England Patriots, Kyle Pitts. They say the Falcons get a 2026 third-round pick, 2026 fourth-round pick, and tight end Austin Hooper. Okay. And let's read some of these stats Mike McCain is bringing up. Mike McCain is talking about these stats, and they're putting us in remembrance. They said Pitts hasn't topped 1,000 receiving yards since his rookie season, and he hasn't had a 100-yard game since then either. Additionally, he's dealing with a foot issue that has kept him out of early OTAs, according to NFL insider James Palmer. Yeah, and yet again, he remains an intriguing target because he has an all-pro ceiling and won't turn 25 until October. Yeah, he's a young dude. Yeah, he'd be a great addition to any tight end needy team, but he'd be particularly valuable to a younger team looking to build a long-term contender. Yeah, you can franchise dude. Yeah, you can franchise tight end for sure. Washington Commanders. Falcons get a 2026 third round, 2027 third round. Okay. And they're talking about how they had Zach Ertz. Signed him to a one-year deal. Okay, I see. Los Angeles Rams. I can see that too. This coach right here, Rams quarterback coach, Dave Ragoni. He's gonna be an offensive coordinator for somebody. I can see it coming a mile away. The way they're prepping him, but they're saying the Falcons would get the 2026 first round pick. Ooh. Rams get Kyle Pitts, 2026 second round, 2026 third round. Falcons get 2026 first round. Well, no, maybe they would take that. You get a couple of picks out of it. Titans get Kyle Pitts. Falcons get a 2026 third round pick, 2026 seventh round pick, quarterback Will Levis. So you get your backup quarterback out of it. Somewhere in here, I think the Cowboys are in here. Cleveland Browns. Falcons get cornerback Greg Newsome II. Okay. Then, okay, I thought the Cowboys were in here because people have been talking about the Cowboys. Says the Steelers would get Kyle Pitts and Kirk Cousins. Falcons get a 2025 second round pick, 2025 fifth round pick. So I'm not sure where it's coming from, but I do think that Athlon Sports is actually reporting, for whatever reason, they're actually reporting that the Cowboys are at the top of the list. I don't know where they're getting this from. All I know is every time Kyle Pitts' name seems to come up as a trade, here come the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, somebody starts talking about Dallas Cowboys, and I don't know where exactly it's coming from. Cody Benjamin, okay. So now Cody Benjamin, I don't even know who this is. Says here on Athlon Sports, Cody Benjamin made a splash when Cody Benjamin of CBS Sports identified Cowboys as a top contender for tight end Kyle Pitts, who was rumored to be hitting the trade block as the Atlanta Falcons look to rebuild. So I guess my question is, where did Benjamin get this? He identified the Cowboys as a top contender, but where did he get it from? Benjamin noted that Pitts could be a logical target for a Cowboys team looking for some big moves to improve their offense. Says Jerry Jones stayed quiet for much of the offseason, only to roar back to form with the George Pickens trade in May. Benjamin wrote, if we're collecting malcontents to maximize Dak Prescott's chances of getting the boys back in the dance under new head coach Brian Schottenheimer, then why not add Pitts as well? Okay, so I guess he's just coming up with this on his own. It says Benjamin added that Pitts could be a more dynamic complement to hold over Jake Ferguson at tight end, adding that the team has $30+ million in cap space to utilize. Yeah, see, again, to me, he's not up anything we're planning on doing, as you talk about Kyle Pitts. Anything we're planning on doing, he won't stop you from doing any of it. We're going to sign Micah Parsons. That's going to give us more money. And I think there'll be a couple of more things, and that'll bring us more money. So the issue is it would just be a matter of does the team really think, he's going to come out of, is he going to be healthy enough, and are they willing to pay the money for him? That's really all it's going to boil down to. So, again, just a topic worth talking about tonight. And, like I said, I'm always fascinated every time these players come available. Boy, Cowboys. Man, I believe it when I see it on Kyle Pitts. I'll believe it when I see it with Kyle Pitts. Greatness said Ferg has been a better tight end over the last 2 seasons statistically than Pitts. Now, Greatness, let's think about this. Dak Prescott is throwing to him. Dak didn't throw to him the entire season last year, but Dak Prescott's been throwing to him. Imagine Kyle Pitts with Dak Prescott throwing to him. Parrish said, hit that like button. I agree with you. Appreciate you, Parrish. Angie said, since we dreaming, I'd rather have Bijan. Angie said, she'd rather have BJ. Yeah, Angie, we ain't dreaming like that. We ain't dreaming like that because Kyle Pitts he's actually going to be a possibility. Even though I don't think the Cowboys are going to go after him. Y'all don't worry, because I think other teams are going to really beat out the Cowboys if Kyle Pitts hits that market. I guarantee you they're going to beat him out. Reginald Jackson said they don't understand when players go to other teams, they play better most of the time. He's going to play better. I'm telling us, we're going to be good this year on defense, but I wouldn't want to see this dude I wouldn't want to see him on the Commanders. And I wouldn't want to see him on the Philadelphia Eagles. This dude is good. Oh, yeah, I can see that too, Amadeo. I can see that too. Ravens, yeah. For sure. Lost in translation. Them Rams done threw all the chips on the table. I don't know what they got left. Bobby K said, I say get Kyle Pitts for a 2026 fourth-round draft pick and the 27th number 2027 third pick, and then throw in Schoonmakers to boot. Yeah, I think he's an upgrade over Schoonmaker, y'all. He really is. He's an upgrade over old Schoon, and I like Schoon. He's an upgrade over him, though. Cowboys and Giants are leading the charge for Pitts. Oh, okay. We're going to see. Boy, I'm going to tell you, after Sunday, it's going to be a whole lot of stuff going on. Superstar status, he said first cousin to the Steelers, though I wouldn't be mad at it. Yeah, I think first cousins is going to the Steelers. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are a little bit tired of playing games with Aaron Rodgers. Lost in Translation said the only reason the Cowboys at the top of the list is Lost in Translation said because they're going by alphabetical order. Well, whoever this dude is, Benjamin, I think he the one, but boy, you got me rolling. It just said sounds about right. Boy, y'all got me rolling up in there. Oh, man. Brady Mahoney, what's going on? She said, hey, my loves, we up late. Yeah, G is my late night YouTuber. Yeah, you know we do it. No after hours, we got to get it in. Gospel Sports Show, he said, I'd rather the Cowboys work on the middle of the defense. They keep losing big game because of the run game. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Plus, Michael Parsons only have 1 sack in 4 playoff games, so defense needs more help. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Yeah, I appreciate that. Welcome to the podcast tonight. Mike McCain says, since you mentioned Kyle Pitts as a franchise cornerstone, just remember what the Cowboys did in 1990 when they got fourth-year player. Boy, Jay Novacek. Boy, he was a beast. Jay Novacek was a beast and became a cornerstone Super Bowl, 3-time Super Bowl. Yeah, he was a beast. Superstar status said first cousin agent finessing these teams over the years with these teams was nasty work. Boy, whoever his agent is, everybody in the NFL need to hire that man's agent. Because I don't know how in the world did they get that deal? Boy, that's crazy. Miami K said, man, I'm tired. I'm not thinking straight, spitting facts, but misspelling everything. You good? Boy, this is crazy. Saber Moten, what's going on? He said, this is nonsense. Every time this dude come up, it's the Cowboys, man. March noon, Atlanta sounds like they're having or going out of business sale. Man, how you gonna have $5.3 million in his salary cap space? Boy, that's wicked work right there, man. Angie said, imagine if we had Bijan. Ooh, man. Now, Angie, you remember all the talk was we were gonna get Bijan Robinson. All the talk we were gonna get him. And he wound up, people start talking about him to the Cowboys. And we wound up not getting him, just like Ashton Genty. Gospel said Cowboys had Amari Cooper and Lamb and still got knocked out of the playoffs. Cowboys hasn't scratched the NFC championships in 96. Now, again, Gospel Sports Show, remember, CD then wasn't the CD now. The CD then wasn't the yak monster that he is now. He wasn't the route runner that he is now. He wasn't a lot of things that he is now. He even talked about the fact that Amari Cooper really helped out his career. So when Amari Cooper was here, Amari Cooper stepped right in and became the number 1 receiver. CD was a number 2. He wasn't like Tolbert and Mingo and them guys. No, CD was a number 2. He was a number 2. He wasn't what he is now. Boy, if Amari Cooper then in his prime and CD then in his prime like he is now, oh no, it'd been a different story. It'd have been a shootout because we still couldn't stop Green Bay's offense, but it'd have been a shootout for sure. Yeah, Mike McCain, boy, Lost in Translation got me up here rolling, man. Him and Angie got me rolling. Angie talking about, boy, Angie said now she said she want the dream Bijan. Yeah, they ain't happening, though. Greatest Kirk's age is the same age of Michael Parsons has. Oh, man. Boy, I know the Cowboys about to get fleeced in for about $150 million guaranteed dollars. Boy, I'm telling you, because that dude, boy, whoo, I do not understand how Kirk Cousins gets that kind of money. Superstar status, he said, AJ, you have officially overthrown Nightcap for the nighttime slot, in my opinion. All right, I appreciate you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now all we need now, superstars, all them viewers they got. Lisa said, I got a feeling Parsons getting signed money to open up some money. Lisa, I hope he getting signed on Monday so he can get his butt in those mandatory mini camps. We need him in those mini camps. We need him in the mandatory mini camps. We need him. We need this chemistry to get going early. It's important. My man Alex is up in the crib tonight. What's going on? Alex said, best Cowboys channel in the game. Appreciate the hard work, G. Man, I appreciate you, man, all the support. All of y'all, appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. Brandy said, are y'all happy with our running back room? Brandy. I'm happy with it. I'll be honest with you. I'm happy with the running back room. I'm on the verge of being elated. We just got to get it on the field. And the one who really has me excited, it's Phil Maffa. Phil Maffa is the one that got me excited. Jaden Blue, I already know he's going to be all-purpose back. He'll be great. But the one I'm looking, Phil Maffa. Phil Maffa has the potential to be a bell cow back. Big-bodied, one move, boom, he hits it hard. I'm telling us, Phil Maffa has the potential. Would love to get him. Andrew, you playing, but you don't understand how true that is. You don't understand how true that is. And I'm hoping somebody change this narrative with the Cowboys. Man, Bijan Robinson, man, he'll be 30, 31 years old getting cut by the Atlanta Falcons, and the Cowboys will be talking about, yeah, we picked him up because we had a first-round grade on him back in, back in whatever draft year it was. Yeah, you playing, but you don't know. You know how we do. You know how we do. Gospel Sports Show, he said, you got great knowledge. I like this show. I appreciate you. Let's rock with it tonight. Robert Simmons says, we really do live rent-free in Cowboys haters' head. Boy, yeah, I'm telling you. Mike McCain said Jay Novacek went from 225 yards in his last year with the Arizona Cardinals in 1990. In his first year with the Cowboys, went all the way up to 657, 4 TDs, 11.8 yards. Man, let me tell you, boy, Novacek and Troy, boy, they was serious, man. they was serious. They were. Superstar Status said we got 175 and 21 likes. He said, let's go. Let's get more up in here. Hit that like button. Yeah, Edge on fire as usual, Mike McCain. Let's go. Brandix, yeah, workhorse running back. Me too. I don't like running back by committee because I think running backs, they kind of get into a groove. And, man, if you get them in a groove, some of them are hard to stop. They really are. They're hard to stop when they get in a groove. All right. Here we go. Angie said, I'm for real. Angie, girl, you do not know how prophetic you are. Because I'm telling you, Cowboys will do this stuff. Man, them dudes be getting in their late age. The Cowboys be talking about, yeah, man, we had like a 1.5 grade on them. We had a first round and a half grade on them. So we gonna go ahead and bring them in. Yeah, but they not the same that what they were when you had the grade on them. They are not the same. Brandy said we did the same thing with Brandon Cook. He wasn't the back he once was. Brandy, we did the same thing with Ezekiel Elliott. We did the same thing with Ezekiel Elliott. I'm telling you, boy. Woo. Edgy, stop speaking it into existence. I'm hoping we change. We make some changes around here. Renan, what's going on with you? Going good. Novacek was really good. He was good up the seams. Yeah, and I'm thinking Ferg gonna be that tight end for us too up the seams for sure. Andy said I don't like running backs by committee either. I do wish they used Zeke and Pollard correctly back then. Yeah, I've never liked running back by committee. Running backs get into a groove, and you really got to let them get in there. And when they got it going, you let them get it. And when you're talking about running back by committee, man, you just can't get it going. It's hard to get it going sometimes. CW said right now the Cowboys are one of the youngest teams in the league. Hopefully we continue that trend. We will. Football is a young man's game. We will, I guarantee you. Katharina Kiss, what's going on? She said, hello, Roberta. I don't know how long I can stay because I have to be up at 5 a.m. Hey, Katharina, I ain't going to stay up to 5, but sometimes I stay up to 5. At least 3 or 4 o'clock, but I ain't going to do it tonight. But again, you'll probably better get most of it in tonight, but I ain't going to try to make you sleep before you go to work. But again, Let's go real quick to this story with Russell Wilson. I have a very interesting story with Russell Wilson. Y'all know Russell Wilson gets hated on a major level. But Russell Wilson has kind of come to the defense of George Pickens. He has come to the defense of George Pickens. Says over here, written by the trusty Mike Fisher, as he calls himself sometimes, over here on CowboysCountry.com or Athlon Sports. Russell Wilson sounds off on Steelers. George Pickens trade to Cowboys with rare view. And so it says Russell Wilson has never been afraid to go his own way. Yeah, y'all remember old Russell Wilson when he got Russell got over to the Denver Broncos, boy. He had them jokers mad over there in Denver. That boy Russell Wilson said Broncos country. I think that's what he was saying. He said Broncos country, let's ride. Boy, them jokers was mad. And then he came out with that Subway commercial. Yeah, we know Russ ain't afraid to go his own way. It says to the point at which some critics over the years have accused him of being corny and fake. But maybe of all this time, his truth should at least be accepted to be his truth. With his thoughts on new Dallas Cowboys receiver George Pickens being a latest example, Pickens has plenty of critics too, and included among them are an assortment of old Pittsburgh Steelers teammates who are now whispering to the media that Pickens was a poor teammate. If Wilson wanted to go with the flow, he'd simply say the same thing, but no. Russell Wilson said, I love George. His ability to catch the football is one of a kind. Anything in his vicinity, he's going to catch it. And I agree with him. Yeah, George Pickens is different. But what about Pickens, the teammate, and Pickens, the person? It was during an appearance on former NBA star Carmelo Anthony's podcast this week that Wilson, a Super Bowl winner in Seattle and last year Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, who is now the number one quarterback with the New York Giants, talked glowingly about his former teammate. He said on a serious note, he's misunderstood, Wilson said. He wants to be great, you know. I kind of brought this up too. And I think also to his ability where he can take it from not just being great to being one of the world's best. I think he has that in him. And I do think this is a part of this, that this has been a part of his attitude. He feels like he's better than what his stats show. Because he doesn't feel like, I believe, he's had the quarterbacks that he's needed. And one thing I'll say about Russ' arm is nowhere near what it used to be. But Russ was trying to get it to him. Russ was really trying to get it to him. He really was. And I do think that was one of Pickens' issue. He just got to mature and understand it takes time. And, you know, you just got to keep working at your craft. And look what happened. Now you with the Cowboys. It says Cowboys homers shouldn't argue against what we know to be factual about Pickens' time in Pittsburgh. He had a habit of being late to meetings and practice, and he was involved in several on-field incidents that led to fights and fines. Won't be happening here. Will not be happening here. And one of the reasons why I think it will not be happening here, and actually I got a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is I don't think the culture here is going to allow him to do that. But number two, this man is in a contract year. This is the only thing holding him back. Get his attitude together. He get his attitude together, it's going to be on and popping. Yeah, it's going to be on and popping for him. He going to get paid. There is no doubt about it. He is going to get paid, whether it be here or somewhere else. I hope everything works out and he gets paid here. Would love to see him here for the next 3 to 4 years along with CeeDee Lamb. Says the Cowboys have had all positive things to say about him. Teaming with CeeDee Lamb and the rest of the fellas under the new head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, did their research. They are convinced they have the locker room culture that can help Pickens. Yes, 24 be the best version of himself, and Wilson agrees. Wilson only spent 1 year with him. But I think Wilson know what he was. I think Wilson know what he was. Mike McCain said, I don't understand why people say that Russell Wilson is not the same player. He has never once in his career had a bad season. Russell Wilson's worst season would be anybody else starting quarterback. Well, hey, he's been starting a starting quarterback, so I guess we'd have to agree with that part. I don't know if he's had. Let's put it like this, Mike McCain. You're really kind of answering the question. When you're your own standard, that's the issue. When you're your own standard, that's the issue. Because Mike McCain, you got to think about what happened. I think one of the things that happened to Russell Wilson was up under Brian Schottenheimer. Russell Wilson was up under Brian Schottenheimer. And so what wound up happening to Russell Wilson, I believe, is the performance that he had up under Brian Schottenheimer was so good that it was his own standard that got him. You think about what happened with Seattle. Let's look at his stats real quick. So, if I'm not mistaken, 2019 through 2021 are the Brian Schottenheimer years, I believe. I think those are the Brian Schottenheimer years. So, he was 66.1 completion percentage, 68.6, 64.8. His yardage and touchdowns are the issue. 3,448, 35 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 4,110. I'm not sure this is exactly accurate. 31 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. 2020, 40 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 4,212 yards. 3,113 yards in 2021 and 25 touchdowns. He winds up going over to the Broncos. And the first year seemed to be okay, even though the completion percentage was way down. The yards were there. And some of that, boy, they were playing from behind a lot too. But nevertheless, 2023, he was 3,000, 26, and 8. So that really is down for him. And that's not really, that's way down. And then in 2024, we saw with the Steelers, you still kind of see that decline where he's going from 35 to 30 to 24. So what's his name? Sean Payton couldn't stand him. And I still got problems with the way he disrespected Russell Wilson. But Sean Payton couldn't stand him. Yeah, Sean Payton couldn't stand him. Yeah, I'm thinking 2018 is shoddy. Thought 2018 was shoddy. Yeah, 2018 was shoddy. That's when he really, I mean, those 3 years right there in a row, he was crazy. Crazy. Wasn't too shabby before then either. But shoddy really got him that moniker, let Russ cook. Let Russ cook. And he got 40 touchdowns in 2020. But, you know, he got that big deal to go to the Denver Broncos. And, you know, at the same time, you know, not only do we need to look at the stats, but I can just say this for my own self. Russ didn't quite look right with my eyes. I mean, the stats are there, but he didn't quite look right with my eyes. I mean, you can tell. I mean, it's just like anybody else as you get up there in age. He couldn't throw the ball like he used to. At least he couldn't to me. And I think that's the very reason why now he is with, you know, Pittsburgh moved on from him, and now he's with the New York Giants. And I think that is going to be a catastrophe, not because of Russell Wilson. I think it's going to be a catastrophe because it's the New York Giants. So we'll see. I think Russ might be on his last couple of years. I really do. I think he may be on his last couple of years. But I do think that was cool for him to say about one Russell Wilson. CW, what's going on again? He says, do you remember the Legion of Boom? Whoa, do I remember? Man, yeah, excuse me. Marshawn Lynch. Wilson after was changed after the defensive players either left or retired. Yeah. Wilson benefited like most quarterbacks would. It was the perfect storm. When you get a defense like that, a running back like that, shoot, boy, that was tough there. Them boys were tough. Not to mention, not gonna take nothing away from Russ. That boy Russ could move too. Russ could move, could scramble, extend plays, and that really used to be Russ's specialty. And as you get older and you lose that ability to run around like that, and when a lot of your yards are based on broken plays, because that was one of the things that was kind of one of the indictments they were kind of trying to throw on Russ, because they were saying that a lot of those yards were from broken plays. And I think that's one of the things that Sean Payton didn't like about him, is that Sean didn't feel like he could play within the system. Sean Payton don't want all those broken plays. And the reason why he don't want all them broken plays is because he thinks he's the play calling guru. And Sean Payton wants you to get all of your productivity not from you and in the broken plays. He wants you to get that productivity from executing his plays. But boy, he did not like Russell Wilson. I do not understand somebody not liking somebody like that. Sean Ginsberg, what's going on? He said if we get a little Turp and some gadget plays with Blue, we might make all love Kool-Aid. Oh, we gonna do it. I guarantee you, we're going to do it. Yeah, they're going to get Cavonte Turpin and Jaden Blue on the field at the same time. You can book that. They're going to do it. Angie said, I wish Marshawn had played for us. He reminded me of Barber. Boy, Angie, that dude, boy, Marshawn Lynch was crazy. The way he ran through them doggone New Orleans Saints, that boy was crazy. Katharina Kiss, I agree with you. She said, hit that like button. It don't cost anything. Let's go. All right, let's see here. So that was Russell Wilson. Let's move over to Joe Toya. I'm still not sure we're pronouncing this guy's name right. I'm going to have to really look it up. All right, let's look over here at Jay Toya. There's a story on him.
Here we go.
Jay Toya has been all the talk in a sense. A lot of people have been talking about that Jay Toya, while I'm thinking, I forgot where we got him at, but a lot of people are saying that the grade on him, some teams had him way higher, 7th round pick. A lot of people are saying that he is better than a 7th round pick, and there are some saying that he was rated as a 4th round draft pick. He was rated as a 4th round draft pick. What up with you, Mr. J? What up with you? Some people are saying that he was more, he could have been rated as a 4th round draft pick. So, Jay Toya. And again, now these guys right here, these linemen, we can kind of look at some of the base, some of the drills, but what we're really looking at, like Brian Schottenheimer talked about, we're talking about individual drills, kind of looking at some of their explosiveness and, some of that execution. But training camp is where we're going to really start seeing what is our lineman looking like. And so it says here, if this storyline can continue for the positive, the Dallas Cowboys might have found one of the biggest steals in recent NFL draft memory. And so they're talking about Jay Toya, 6'3", 325 pounds, former UCLA Bruins defensive tackle, was built to stop the run and stop the run he did in college. The Cowboys selected Toya with one of their 3 7th-round draft picks early this month, and he's impressing early in the offseason. Now, the big thing with Jay Toya is what is he going to look like once we get them pads on and get it crack-a-lacking, and then, of course, in the preseason, getting to see him going up against some pro competition. But from everything, all intents and purposes, this guy seems like to be a really good run stopper. It says Pro Football Focus. I'm struggling with Pro Football Focus. I mean, they rated Dak Prescott. I think they rated Dak Prescott at number 17, and then they took CeeDee Lamb. Didn't even have him in top 5. I'm worried about Pro Football Focus, but I digress. Shows Toya had his best collegiate season last year with an overall grade of 69. While he might have a ways to go before breaking into a starting role in the NFL, he already appears to be trending upward. It's early. Guys rotate in. Nobody's wearing pads. Nobody's really hitting butt. The Cowboys were the fourth worst run-stopping team last season, allowing 2,331 total yards and a league worst 25 rushing touchdowns. Dallas was also the third worst in the NFL, allowing a whopping 4.8 yards per carry. Yeah, he is going to help in some form or fashion. Short yardages for sure. He may be exactly what we need to help stop the tush push. CW said Toya is ready to play a lot this season. We need a veteran one tech. We may get that whole field this weekend. I'm thinking it's going to be DJ Reader. I think it'll be more developing, but I think it's going to be DJ Reader. Now, again, as it applies to Toya, I want to read some of his draft card. Let's look at a couple of things on him. Let's see something here. Because one thing I do know about him, just doing some research on him, when you run at him, it's a problem. If you run at him, it's a problem. But the problem is they're saying that when you run at angles at him, when you run at angles, they say he seems to struggle. Let's see here. Let me pull up something here. I want to see if maybe I can pull up, let's see. I was trying to sneak and see if I can get some non-copyright film on him. But Jay Toya, I mean, he'll be good and he'll be able to help with some short yardage situations. I really do believe he will. But I understand what everyone is saying. But we don't want to go into the season with Jay Toya being our only rotational one tech. We don't want to do that. They're going to need somebody else too. And again, don't get me wrong, I do think he's going to be good. I think he's going to play something this year. I think he's going to contribute. I do think he's going to contribute. But I understand what everyone is saying. We don't want to just be relying on Jay Toya. We don't want to just be relying on Jay Toya. And so, yeah, the Cowboys, I think DJ Reader will be the answer for the Cowboys. I do think that's what I could be totally wrong, but I think that's the move they're going to make. Yeah, he's a beast. Heard he's 340 pounds. JT is a plug, solid steel. Let's see here. Let's pull him up at defensive tackle. Let's see how they had him rated. It's funny. I kind of go back and look at this on these players. And it's funny to me if you go back and look at this stuff on these players, man, it'll blow your mind at some of these players, some of the things that they put on this NFL draft profiles and these NFL draft buzz stuff. It'd be dead on, man. It absolutely be dead on. And some of these players, they'll still be struggling with the same stuff that they had on their draft cards. They'll still be struggling with that same stuff. And so let's look at Jay Toya. And he is definitely what you would probably call a developmental player because his position rank 46. Position rank 46. And then when you start looking at all of the measurables, when you look from the red to the blue down here on this graph, that means, worst to best. And when you look at it, man, he's in a lot of the dark colors back here, y'all. Height, hands, 40, vertical, 3-cone, shuttle, span, arm. Man, he back there on a lot of these measurables. He really is. But he's very good at stopping the run. Now look at this. Average rating of position offenses faced. Average rating of opposition offensive players faced, 79%. They gave him a 36% at tackling. 36%. Pass rush percent, 64. Run defense, 66. So his overall ranking is 202. Position ranking is 46. All right, let's kind of check him out, see what they're saying about him. So his strengths. Mammoth frame with rare lower body density creates a nearly immovable anchor when he drops his pads and plays with proper leverage against double teams. Brings genuine bad intentions with his hands, throws powerful clubs and swipes that regularly jolt offensive linemen back and create immediate separation at the point of attack. Displays impressive short area quickness for a man his size. Stubbornly holds his ground against double teams. Shows enough processing ability to diagnose blocking schemes quickly. Brings relentless energy on every snap despite his massive frame. Significantly improved his third down utility as a senior. Coaches consistently praise his selfless approach to the dirty work. Now let's look at the weaknesses, because these are the things that you will see that will even be rearing their ugly heads in these players' career, even in third years. Here it is. Limited tackle radius due to below average arm length forces him to be exact with his positioning, can't reach out and finish plays that aren't directly in his path. I saw this somewhere else. Lacks creativity as a pass rusher, which is not what you're really getting him for. Relying almost exclusively on power moves. So we're not really worried about that with him. But this is the other part. Lateral mobility constraints become evident when forced to redirect quickly or pursue outside the tackles. Becomes a non-factor once plays stretch horizontally. So if you're running up in those A gaps and things of that nature, I think he'll be great. I think he'll get some work there. I think he'll get some work on short yardage, goal lines. He's probably somebody you want up in them trenches. It says too often leaves tackles on the field due to timing issues. Arrives at the right spot but fails to collect himself quickly enough to finish the play. Needs to develop more consistent recognition skills against down blocks and combination blocks that catch him leaning or playing too high at the opponent position. So, again, I would say that Jay Toya is a developmental player. Not meaning he's bad, but he is a developmental player. Cowboys are going to have to understand that. And this is one of the reasons why the Cowboys need to go get that one tech if they really want to be, competitive. And they're really seriously talking about winning. Because if we know anything about championship teams, I believe, one, you look at their offensive and defensive line. But I say if you even go deeper, if we were to go number 2 and we start talking about the trenches, I would like to know who your defensive tackles are. I want to know who's going to do the dirty work. Not just your one tech. I want to know who your defensive tackles are. I want to know who both of them are, because they're going to do the dirty work. I consider like the defensive ends, for example. You could kind of look at defensive ends in a sense, kind of like, I don't know, maybe you can kind of look at them as a real fancy tight end of some sort. Or maybe you can look at them as wide receivers on offense. What I mean by that, they are the ones who are the flashy players. They're the ones out there rushing the passer, getting wreaking havoc and getting pressure on the quarterback, and they get all the money. But the dirty work is the defensive tackles. In particular, that one tech defensive tackle. They are the ones who do the dirty work. They are the ones that, if that quarterback comes back up the middle, he's not getting away. They are the ones on short yardage, goal lines. They're the ones who hold that line. They hold that line, so if linebackers need to come up and also get in that thing, get in there and make a stop too. You show me who your defensive tackles are. And not just your defensive tackles. Show me who in the heck your left tackle is. Show me who your left tackle is. I got to know who your left tackle is. You're serious about winning when you got those positions covered. You got to show me who your left tackle is. That's the quarterback's blind side. That's the money position. I need to know who that is to know you're serious. When you get that covered, you serious. You're serious. And so Jay Toya, I think it's going to be a part of the plan this year. But he can't be a major part of the plan. He can't be the major part. He can't be the guy we say, hey, man, Mozzie ain't turning out. Okay, Jay Toya. We don't want to do Jay Toya like that. So they need to get that guy in here. And I think that guy is going to be DJ Reader. Oh, yeah, it's 143 where I am, man. Mike McKay said, I don't know what time it is where you are, G. Here it is approaching midnight. We're still climbing on people in the chat. We're almost at 200. Let's get those likes up, people. Let's go. Yeah, it's like 143 here. And so, again, I need to know who, when you're talking about championships, I need to know who you got on the line. I really do. And so that's a big deal. Brandon said everybody who beat us on the ground. Yeah. Yep. They beat us on the ground. It's 136 where G is. Dallas time. Yeah. Yeah, it's 144 now. Superstar status, he says, hey, G, what do you think about Justin Rogers? Okay. Justin Rogers. Okay, is this... Oh, wait, hold on a second. All right, Justin Rogers. It's the Cowboys guy, right? Hold on a second. Is he on the team? Let me look at the depth chart. Man, I'm sorry. I don't... Hold on a second. Sometimes when people mention some of these players that be back there on the depth chart, man, I gotta admit, I don't be knowing who some of them is. Let me look back here. Let me see. He on the Cowboys team. Okay, Justin Rogers. Okay, Justin Rogers got on the Cowboys. Hold on, let me go back. Okay, he's a defensive tackle. All right. Okay, I haven't heard anybody talking about him. We got him last year. Interesting. All right, I'm looking because I'm trying to see if anybody else is talking about him. Don't really see anything on him either. Let's pull this up. It looks like the Dallas Cowboys Wire. The Cowboys Wire is talking about him. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. All right, they talking about Justin Rogers. All right, so I'm assuming that Justin Rogers is a one tech. Correct? Yeah, I'm assuming he's a one tech. Let me see here. Yeah, he's a one tech, obviously. He's behind Jay Toya. I mean, they already got him behind Jay Toya. That's crazy to me. They don't even know if I guess they just automatically saying he ain't going to beat him out. We got another guy back here, too. Denzel. A guy by the name of Denzel Daxon. Anybody familiar with him? Anybody familiar with this guy? We got him on the squad, too. One tech. Yep, we got him on the squad. He don't even have a write-up on him, so I already know what that means. All right, let's see here. So, Cowboys Wire actually is talking about him. It says the failure of first round Mozzie Smith pick has likely scared them. Let me flip this back over so y'all can see it. Hold on. It says, it feels like the Dallas Cowboys have a constant stream of hopeful nose tackles parading through the star in Frisco. It's because they have. While Dallas has moved on from throwing a ton of resources at the running back position and finally invested in the safety spot, they've only taken one real swing at nose tackle position in recent years. The failure of the first round Mozzie Smith pick has likely scarred them. While they already have him as a failure, I'm not sure he's a failure yet, leaving the Cowboys to keep churning through options. One such candidate is Justin Rogers, second-year candidate trying to make his way onto the 53-man roster in 2025. Rogers was a double SEC guy attending both Kentucky and Auburn. After being drafted in the 7th round, the Cowboys cut him loose at the end of training camp, and he was picked up by Cincinnati as they formed their 2025 practice squad. At the end of last season, the Cowboys poached him from there, adding him to their active roster, but he never appeared in a game. Okay, I remember him. I remember this guy. Everybody, we were talking about him, but he never got a chance to play. I remember this guy. Hold on a second. I remember some people making. Y'all tell me about him in the chat. Anybody got any info on him? Tell me what you think about. Tell me what you think about Justin Rogers. Tell me what you think. And let me see if I can pull something up here. I remember this guy. I do. Let me see something, boy, because I thought I remember us getting this guy back, and people were really talking about this guy. I know I remember some people talking about him last year when the Cowboys got him, but I guess maybe I have been mistaken. Let me see here. All right, I don't see anything on him, but I thought he was one of these guys we were talking about last year. But I guess we'll see. And as a matter of fact, let me see here. Man, let me show you. It's funny, like when you start talking about players, and just for fun, hey, it's Cowboys After Hours. I'm just going to show you. When you start looking up what people would say about players, it is hilarious. And it's not anything bad about the people who are saying it, but it's just how when we look at the potential of players and the stuff that people be saying about them, boy, man, let me tell you, the potential of these players, boy, people be excited. Check this out. So this is Justin Rogers. I mean, look at this. Secret audio, Justin Rogers. This is Jerry Jones from last year. I think we may listen to this one just for fun. Then look at this. Cowboys draft Justin Rogers, 244. Cowboys buzz. I'm not sure what this is. Vach Lombardi hit him up, and he said he keeps linebackers clean. Let's see what else is on here. Cowboys report. Cowboys signed defensive tackle Justin Rogers off the practice squad. And I think, again, we had already had him by this time. I think we'd already had him, and the Cowboys brought him back because we drafted him and we brought him back. But, I mean, it's just funny. You look back on some of that stuff and the way people looked at players, and then a lot of these players be having the potential. They just don't pan out. I guess it is what it is. They don't pan out. Let's see here. Let's see what let's see if we can pull up what was being said about him last year. Hold on a second. I saw a video. I want to see what was being said about him last year. Okay. Let's check these two out right here. Let's check out the secret call between him and Jerry. Because, you getting that secret call, you making it sound like this dude about to come in here and tear some stuff up.
Then put that star on your helmet. We just drafted you, Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, we are excited about having you here. Boy, I'll tell you one thing. It's a great opportunity for you to really make a big difference in your life because if you can do it, which we think you can, then you got you a home for a long time to come.
Well, wait a minute, but so he got him home for a long time to come, and if I'm not mistaken, the Cowboys wound up cutting him, didn't he? Because that's how he got to Cincinnati. On Cincinnati practice squad, but I guess he back home. Cowboys went and poached him.
Justin, how you doing? Congratulations.
How you doing, Coach? Thank you.
Where are you? Are you home? Where you
Yeah. I'm home with my mom, my brothers, and my girlfriend.
Awesome. Well, obviously a great moment. Can't wait to get you here. We'll get you up here in 2 weeks and get started, man. But welcome to a great place.
Hey, Justin.
Oh, man.
How you doing?
Good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I hear some yelling going on in there.
Yeah.
Everybody excited?
Yes, sir.
Good deal. All right. We'll see you in about 2 weeks and get you up here and get you going, all right?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Justin, what do you think about getting to play on the defense with Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, and some of these other outstanding Cowboys defenders?
Hey, I can't wait. Can't wait to get there and show my skills.
Boy, I'm telling you, man. Boy, I'm telling you. Man, boy, expectations on the robber of joy, boy. Expectations on the robber of joy. I mean, you look back on when this dude was drafted, boy, he was supposed to, he's supposed to be the truth. He was supposed to be the truth. But, of course, don't always turn out to be that way. CW, man, you in Brooklyn, New York? I see you. Floyd McClellan, what's going on? He said, I think the defense will stop the run in your... Oh, he said, think that the defense will stop the run in your opinion. Do you feel like it'll be a better defense? Oh, it's going to be a better defense. And I think we're going to be a lot better against the run. I really do. I think we're going to be a lot better against the run. Still need a little work, though. Alex said, I'm here after dark. What's going on? He said, I'm here after dark since I'm off this weekend. Yeah, we need a little bit more work, though. We need a little bit more work. Angie, what do you think about Justin Rogers? Looking at stuff they were saying about him, he was already supposed to be a star for us, I think. Didn't happen, though. Superstar said, yeah, we drafted him and cut him out of Auburn. Yeah. Amadeo said he played last year. He's okay. Maybe he'll be better with this coaching staff. Maybe he'll be better. Eddie said Linval Joseph is available. Oh, man, I'm just telling you, it's crazy to me when you think about some of these players. You think about some of these players and you're like, man, so many players when they come, you think they got this potential and it's like, this don't work. Just don't work. 249 with you, at least I see you. Sean Ginsberg says Rodgers was our best one tech last year. Maybe nobody's talking about him. Maybe he'll play this year. Maybe he's a part of the answer. Greatness said he ain't better than Mizey or Daxon. Okay. Superstar said, I heard he couldn't be moved in training camp, and we played the political game and cut him, and Cincinnati claimed only to cut him, and then we got him back. Okay, maybe they saw some potential in him then. Sean, yeah, guidance is important. Yeah, he got to take a big step. Him and Mizey both. Show me who your defensive tackles, in particular your one tech, and show me who your left tackle is. I know what you're about. I actually know what kind of team you are. I know what kind of team you are based on that. That's why I think the Cowboys are really trying to work on this. Andrew, he said, Gio, you really live? It's 2 p.m. in Thailand. Oh, for sure. Yeah, we live. He said, don't know why I feel like Jimmy Johnson without social network. How about them Cowboys? Yeah, let's go. All right, so, yeah, man. I don't know really what to say about Justin Rogers. I don't even really know what to think about him. I just don't remember it. I really don't. I just don't really remember it. Let me see here. Quite a bit of talk about him. You know, a lot of hopefulness about him last year when they got him. Let's check it out.
Fourth pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select
Marcus E, we live right now, bro. Yeah, we live right now. For sure. Let's see here. They were talking about him. They were talking him up big.
Justin Rogers, defensive tackle, Auburn.
There you go. You got a big defensive tackle there in Justin Rogers, who is now a Dallas Cowboy. And Justin Rogers, of course, out of Auburn. You see, went to high school there in Detroit, right where this draft is, but big 330 pounds there from Justin Rogers.
Yeah, this is a fun one. This is probably the last one-tech option that you had, and you probably didn't want to toy around with him trying to win a bidding war for him in the undrafted free agent pool because of his size at 6'2", 322. But he started his career at Kentucky and then eventually made his way over to Auburn. Was fairly productive in the run game back in 2022 at Kentucky this last season, just trying to find his way at Auburn, and then ended up entering the draft. But
I'm just telling us, man, he was one of those guys. So, you know, I'm showing this because I hope Jay Toya don't turn out to be one of those guys. I hope he doesn't turn out to be one of those guys, because Justin Rogers may very well be able to play. Maybe he'll be better with this coaching staff. Maybe he'll be a part of the plan. Maybe he'll be a part of the answer. I'm not sure, but maybe he'll be a part of the plan. Superstar said we cut Ridgeway and Bohanna too. Yeah, we do that sometimes. We had a whole defensive tackle last year. Yeah. So maybe he'll be a part of the plan. Superstar said we didn't have a plan for Rodgers. I hope we do this time, because from what I heard, he was better than Mozzie. But the front office didn't want to be wrong about Mozzie, though. Wow. Well, I'm hoping they got some of them politics out of here. CW said whoever we have right now does not equate to changes in our run defense, which is why one take is sorely needed. I wonder about Rodgers. And I don't think he's going to be the total answer. But I just wonder with this coaching staff, maybe Justin Rogers shows up this year. Cowboys vet 71 said he felt disrespected because they wanted to cut him and put him on the practice squad. Yeah. Interesting. Andrew said I left Texas 22 years ago. He said, you one unique pastor still up at 2 a.m. Oh, yeah, man. Oh, I'm a late night person, man, for sure. For sure. Man, I'm telling you, this is crazy. What's up, Marcus E? He said, appreciate the dedication. Salute. Jimmy said from Puerto Rico. What's going on with you? Man, Michael Tyler, we're on our third subject now. We were talking about Jay Toya, but I think it was Superstar brought up Justin Rogers. Mike McCain, what you got on Justin Rogers? Daniel Bateman. Is Daniel Bateman still available? Okay, you said Daniel Bateman? The name don't come up. Let's see. Yeah, the name isn't coming up when I pull it up. I see Rashad Bateman, but I don't see Daniel Bateman. Wait, hold on a second. No. Yeah, I don't see a Daniel Bateman. Other than an older player, I guess it is. Yeah, I don't see a Daniel Bateman. But again, hey. Superstar, he said it's 3 a.m. on the East Coast. What up? Yes, sir. Y'all out there in the New York area. All right, so I really think Jay Toya, we'll see what happens, but I hope he doesn't be like we're talking about Justin Rogers, and we see how excited people were about Justin Rogers. Now, I think, though, looking at Jay Toya, I think people were a little bit more excited about Jay Toya because I've been hearing, people saying that Jay Toya had a higher draft grade on some people's draft boards. Look at this. Tell me this isn't crazy. Let's look at this in Sports Illustrated Dallas Cowboys. Check this out, what they're saying about Jay Toya. Cowboys rookie dark horse is emerging with first-team reps at OTAs. I mean, it is OTAs. And we know they've been doing and moving some things around. It says one of the Dallas Cowboys 7th-round picks from the 2025 NFL Draft has seen action with starting group during the team's recent OTAs. Okay. It says the Cowboys made 3 selections in the 7th, and of course they're talking about Jay Toya is one of them. Let's see here. Nick Harris is reporting. On Thursday, the Cowboys conducted voluntary OTAs, and the 7th-round selection had some work with the team starters. Mr. Jay Toya. Yeah, I agree with you, Nick Harris. Not a lot you can tell about the trenches, like I said, until you get them pads on and everything start cracking. So, but again, he's getting some work with the first. Okay. See what they're saying about him here. Says it should be no surprise to anyone that the Cowboys are giving an early run to Toya during OTAs. Just 2 years ago, the Cowboys selected defensive tackle Mozzie Smith with their first-round pick. While late last season, the former Michigan star started to show signs of hope, it has been a slow build in getting Smith to be one of the top interior defensive linemen in the league. Yeah, I don't know what this affiliation or this infatuation that we started having with these Michigan guys. I don't understand that Michigan thing we were trying to do for a while there. It just don't seem like it worked. If Smith's trajectory continues to go up, it can't hurt to have Toya pushing the former first-round pick for playing time. All right. Our man Vach Lombardi, Cowboys rookie defensive tackle, Toya sliding on ops because they not big enough. Let's see if we can sneak in this and don't get us copyright strike. Let's see here. This is Vach showing some Jay Toya. I see him. He's a powerful kid, you can tell. Yeah, he's a powerful kid. There's no doubt about it. He's a powerful kid. Yeah, whoa. Boy, he threw number 65. I think he hurt him when he threw him down. Woo. Yeah. Yeah, I see him. Mm-hmm. According to Pro Football Focus, you make sure I keep a grain of salt with them. They've been tripping lately. Toya had his best collegiate season in 2024. The site rated former Bruins star with a 69 overall grade. Toya probably has a long way to go when it comes to actually seeing the field in the regular season. However, this has to be a good early sign that the coaching staff trust him to see action with the starters in OTAs. Yeah, he get up. Hey, I still think he's gonna get some playing time. I do. I think he's gonna get some playing time. I do. William Rosette, what's going on? He said, doing a great job, G. You right. You right. They seem to be working in a way that other teams worked in the recent past. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they trying to get that championship team, William. They trying to get that championship teams. Max Amili, salute. Yes, sir. What's going on, Max? CW said, help over the course of the weekend, we make a move like the 49ers Philly already did. Okay, I'm going to check that out. If we don't foolishly cut JT, I predict big things for him in his second and third years of pro. Yeah, I hope they don't do him like Justin Rogers. Yeah, I hope they don't do him like Justin Rogers. But again, when you look at that doggone Dallas Cowboy depth chart, it's crazy. It really is. Man, that doggone Dallas Cowboys depth chart is crazy, man. I mean, they got a lot of people on here. I love what they're bringing into training camp. I really do. I love what they're bringing into training camp. They got some people, but they got some people for sure. But I'm hoping by Monday or Tuesday. Two things, Lisa Worley, I want to see by Tuesday. I want to see Michael Parsons with a contract, and I would like to see DJ Reader. I'd like to see those two things happen. I really would. I really would like to see those two things happen with that. So yeah, I think DJ Reader would be huge pickup for the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm sure, let's check it out on this. Let's see something here. Yeah, DJ Reader became expendable for the DJ Reader became very expendable for the Detroit Lions once they during their draft. Let's see here. All right, let me go over here because this contract doesn't. Let me look at the Sport Track. All right, so here it is. Let's look at this. Let's look at this contract. So, yep, they are right where they're supposed to be with DJ Reader. The out for his contract, $12 million. The rest of it has already been put in void years. Okay, DJ Reader's 31 years old. So I can tell you right now, they're going to cut DJ Reader. DJ Reader is good as gone. Yeah, they're going to cut DJ Reader. There's no way they don't cut DJ Reader. There's no way. Last year of his deal, if you release him, he hits you for 1.2, 3.7 in 2026. You save $11.7 million basically if you release him. If you trade him, he hits you for the same amount and you save the same amount. So with DJ Reader, you just can do it how you want to. You don't have to trade him actually. Now, it would be better if the Dallas Cowboys want him. It would be better for it to be a trade. Because if you cut this dude loose on the open market, DJ Reader, there'll be some teams after DJ Reader. There will be some teams after DJ Reader. So the Cowboys are really going to have to really play this smart because there'll be teams that'll be willing to pay that money. They'll be willing to pay that. So the Cowboys, if they really want this guy, hey, we're going to see. We're going to see come Sunday because I'm telling you, man, he hits that open market, it's over. It's over. I guarantee you it's over. CW. Yeah, we need to be, CW, I would love for us to be top 10. But if we really want to go for the chip, we need to be top 5. We really do. We need to be a top 5 run stop team. We really do. We need to be a top 5 run stop team. If you really want to get, man, the closer you can get to the top of stopping the run, that's saying that you're controlling the lines of scrimmage. JS2, what up? He said, I see Toya playing a little too upright. Leans to low more. Something to work on. Yeah. I think that's one of the things they talked about in those draft card. Will they trade Diggs? Actually, they don't have to trade Diggs. They can just cut him. I don't think Diggs makes it past this season. The Cowboys are either going to cut him or trade him. He doesn't make it. I will not be surprised though if the Cowboys, because just the way the Cowboys operate, I am not going to be surprised if the Cowboys go ahead and let him play. The Cowboys will probably let him play this season, get their money worth out of him, and then they'll cut him. Because I don't think you're going to find anybody to trade him unless you're talking about what? If I'm a team and I know you can't do anything with him, I'm not getting him unless I really want him. It's the same thing with DJ Reader. The Detroit Lions find themselves in a very strange position with DJ Reader. Because whether you trade him or cut him, he's going to hit you the same way. So the issue is, can you find a trade partner? Because the only thing you're really trying to gain out of this is a draft pick. That's what you're trying to gain out of this. You're trying to get a draft pick. Can you get a draft pick? Because other than that, it's the same money. So I think they're going to get out of him. Max and Millie, what up? He said there's a lot of good defensive tackles, I think. We're going to see after Sunday. There are going to be a lot of these teams cutting some of these players. William Mills, he said Cowboys are building a roster. What up, William? He said they did it in the early 90s with Jimmy. They're doing the same thing without having to make a kind of trade like the Walker trade in 89. Boy, I wish we could get another one of them. We talked about that Herschel Walker trade, I think, a couple of nights ago. Boy, I'd love to get one of them. Max Millie said, I like Raquan Davis. Defensive tackle of the Colts. He's only 27. Sean said Diggs needs to play his best. We paid him. Yeah, they're gonna let him play, and I think it'll be it for this. It'll be it after this year. Superstar, he said, I want Reader, Gilly, and Pitts to complete this team. I'm out on Chubb for now. And yes, I want to become a super team like Philly, Detroit, and San Francisco was. That's how you win it. That's how you win it. Don't stop till you get enough. You keep getting players, man. You get players that can contribute. You get players that can make a change. You get players that can be the difference in a game or something. Kitty Boy in the crib, what up? He said Mozzie had a lot of pressure and expectations put on him coming out of Michigan, and because of how high he was drafted, Mozzie is going to be much better this year. I think he is too. The question is how much better. And I think this is where a lot of people are concerned. They're not thinking he's going to be what we need, but we're going to see. Cowboys Vet 71, he said, I'm really impressed. You clarified about the third string quarterback earlier in Milton. Okay. And we're going to talk about Milton a little bit more tonight before we get out of here for sure. Yeah, we're going to talk about Milton a little bit more tonight. Yeah, that third, the fact that the third round, I'm sorry, the third pick that they could have had for him, but nobody would give it. Superstar said, I think White Cotton will get JT's technique right though. Yeah, we got the coaches to do it. Daniel Lim, what's going on? Daniel Lim, we were talking earlier, somebody had mentioned that Kyle Pitts thing, and the Cowboys are already being mentioned in that. It's funny.
Here we go.
All right, let's move over here to another story that I think is very interesting. We're gonna talk about Joe Milton III. Joe Milton III. Floyd McClellan, he said, do you think that if they get DJ Reader, then they can make a strong run in the playoffs? Oh, man. Boy, they get DJ Reader. They're going to be different with DJ. They're going to be different with DJ Reader. They will be different with DJ Reader. Yeah. I think he'll make Mozzie better. I do think he makes Mozzie better. And he'll just make the overall defensive line good. Because if Mozzie is, and we got to think about this. Let's just say Mozzie takes a great step. Well, he can't play every down. And again, Jay Toya, but again, we don't know. Justin Rogers, well, I'm going to keep my eye open and my ears open for that name now. We never know who may step up, but you don't want to fall off. Even if Mozzie makes a step, he can't play every down. So you got to get somebody that when he steps on the field, you don't take a step down. So DJ Reader, I believe, is going to be important for the Cowboys. And I do think that they're going to make a run at him. They're going to make a run. Superstar said, I heard Herschel Walker trade would happen if we foolishly decide to give up Micah. Boy, we better get a lot for him. Yeah, Lisa said me too. Yeah, we better get a lot for him. Daniel Lim, I talked about this earlier. Pitts ain't somebody you need. Pitts is somebody you get because he's talented. Now, you don't need him, but you get him. You get him if you can get him for a good price. You get him. That dude is seriously talented. I do believe he is. But they already talked about it. He is dealing with a foot injury, so Cowboys may. Don't worry, guys. The Cowboys ain't getting him anyway, so we ain't got to worry about it. He ain't getting him anyway. I don't think we're getting him anyway. But there's another story over here about Joe Milton III. And I'm going to show you how people view Joe Milton III versus how Dak Prescott haters view Joe Milton III. And not just how they view him. People may not realize this. But there's a reason why. Y'all do know there's a reason why Joe Milton is with the Cowboys, right? And I'm not saying I'm not glad we got Joe Milton. I'm glad we got Joe Milton. I think he is a definite step up from what we had last year. Ghostface Gaming ain't here tonight, but Ghostface would tell us that he believes that Cooper Rush is better than Joe Milton, and he may very well be, and that Joe Milton is a downgrade. Well, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people, a lot of teams, they don't feel that Joe Milton is that good. Don't have any highlights on him. And I'll see. I'm going to see if I can pull something up. As a matter of fact, I'll pull up Matty Dubs on him. So, a lot of teams actually have the same opinion about Joe Milton III. And I'm telling us, I know this to be a fact because we got him. Because we have him. There's no way we get Joe Milton III if the league, and this is what always fascinates me. I said the same thing about Cooper Rush. The Dak Prescott haters were talking about Cooper Rush as a magical unicorn. And no hate against Cooper Rush, but the problem is you have to tell the truth about him, and it sounds like you're hating on him. But no, Cooper Rush, career backup. He's adequate for about 4 to 5 to 6 games, but you definitely don't want him finishing your whole season. And like I told people before, the league will tell you actually how good Cooper Rush is. Because when Cooper Rush hits the open market, the league is going to tell us how good Cooper Rush is. And when Cooper Rush hit the open market this year, Tennessee Titans didn't call. Cleveland didn't call. Pittsburgh didn't call. The New York Giants didn't call. Heck, they actually cut him when he played for them before. That's how we got him back. The Saints didn't call. None of the teams actually needing quarterbacks said that Cooper Rush was so good he could be a bridge quarterback, and they're going to take their chance on Arch Manning and see if he's going to come out in the next couple of years. They didn't do that. The Seattle Seahawks actually went and got Sam Darnold. They could have had Cooper Rush. Saved a ton of money and got Cooper Rush. The league spoke on him. The league spoke on Cooper Rush. And what a lot of people don't understand, they act like that we're the smartest people in the room sometimes, not understanding that these teams, they go out and do their due diligence on players. You know, some people, you know, we do YouTube channels and, you know, sometimes we think we're the best evaluators of talent. Don't mean we're not good at it. But for all the work that we put in, imagine what these talent guys do for these teams. They're not just putting in an hour. They got access to all the tape. They not only have access to tape, they have access to people. They have friends on other teams. They call people. They say, hey, tell me the truth. What's up with this guy? Can he really play, man? Tell me what his ceiling is. They know people. this league spoke on Cooper Rush. And y'all know this league. This league is quarterback starved. If this league thinks you can play, this league is going to give you a chance to play. We went and got Trey Lance. And the Cowboys tried to be the smartest people in the room. Nobody else was willing to give up a 4th-round draft pick on Trey Lance. And from what the reports were, no one was close to a 4th. You know what that means? Nobody was willing to give up a 5th. Nobody was willing to give up a 6th. The league knew what Trey Lance was. They saw him. And you know what the league said? Hold on a second. Trey Lance played for one of the best play callers in the league, Kyle Shanahan. And if Trey Lance didn't shine with Kyle Shanahan, and the reality is, as much as I like Cooper Rush, there my man Ghostface is. Ghostface, what up with you? I was just talking about you and Cooper Rush. As much as I like Trey Lance, if Kyle Shanahan can't make you look good, if Kyle Shanahan can't make you look good, I got to tell you, you ain't good. I'm just sorry. Kyle Shanahan is a play calling machine. This man, Brock Purdy, ought to be giving Kyle Shanahan a percentage of his contract. Brock Purdy ought to be giving him a percentage because I'm telling you, I promise y'all, Brock Purdy goes to another team, he trash. And I'm not hating on Brock Purdy. He goes to another team. He's nowhere close to what we saw of him. And of course, we saw what he looked like without weapons. But every quarterback needs weapons. Kyle Shanahan got him paid. The league spoke on Trey Lance. And the Cowboys went right up there and said, okay, Dak Prescott's got a contract coming up, so we want to try to see if we can have him as a bargaining chip, and if Dak walks, we'll have us a quarterback. So Dallas, and I'm hoping we're out of these days. So you don't think the league spoke on Trey Lance? There was no bidding war over Trey Lance. Everybody's actually thinking you're crazy for giving up a 4th round for him. He didn't pan out. And so the reason why I'm saying this is because now we have Joe Milton. Joe Milton, big, rocket for an arm, cannon for an arm, splashy, talented, but inconsistent. Last week, he looked a little shaky. They said this week, he's looked better as the week has went on. I really want to see what he looks like in training camp. Pads come on. I want to see what he looks like in the preseason, because that was the thing that really helped everybody to see what Trey Lance was. You got to think about the fact that Joe Milton III, older quarterback, 6-year college quarterback, 1-year starter. He's similar to Trey Lance. I'm sorry. You look up his measurables. Him and Trey Lance, they look eerily the same. And Trey Lance actually had more success than he did in college. But they look eerily the same. They look eerily the same. And one thing about this league, when I see people talking about, oh, man, the size. Nick Harris was saying when he saw him in practice with Dak Prescott, he realized that, okay, maybe he's not that, okay, he's a bigger quarterback, but he's not that much bigger than Dak Prescott. Not that much taller and not that much bigger. See, sometimes you'll turn somebody into a giant. And I'm just saying all of this because I like Joe Milton. But when I hear people saying stuff like, yeah, he's better than Dak Prescott, do you realize the league is telling you that he's not better than Dak Prescott? The league is telling you he's not better than Dak Prescott. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how much the New England Patriots like Drake May. If Joe Milton is better than Dak Prescott, there is no way the New England Patriots, because they like Drake May, would let go of a quarterback that's actually better than Dak Prescott, who, if you ask coaches, I promise you, every coach in this league will laugh at you if you bought Pro Football Focus's list of them and said Dak Prescott's number 17. Every head coach in this league would laugh. They would literally laugh you out the room with that kind of talk. And so if Joe Milton is better than Dak Prescott, if he's even on the same level of Dak Prescott, if he's even a step behind Dak Prescott, if he's even 3-4 steps behind Dak Prescott, Joe Milton would be a starter in this league. He would be a starter in this league. The league has all the tape. They got the Buffalo game. Don't think they don't have the Buffalo game. They've looked at the Buffalo game. Tennessee looked at it. Pittsburgh looked at it. Cleveland looked at it. New York looked at it. The Saints looked at it. Everybody looked at it. And nobody said, we'll give up a 3rd-round draft pick for him. No. We'll give up a 4th. No, we'll give up a 5th. 6th-round draft pick. And don't you believe New England for a second they could have got better offers. How much better? I'd like to know the team. How much better? Because you can't be talking about a 3rd because you would have gave him up before the Cowboys got him. It couldn't have been the 4th because you'd have gave him up before the Cowboys got him. A 5th, maybe? And you probably weighed out you probably weighed it out going, okay, 5th or a 6th. We're not going to give him to a team for a 5th if they're going to be in our division and there's a possibility we maybe have to see him in the future. No, we'll just give him to an NFC team to where we'll barely see him. But I'm telling us the league has spoken on Joe Milton III. And I think this article is very interesting at how this league actually views Joe Milton III. And I'm going to get you guys involved in this conversation because I can tell you saying some things down here, and definitely want to see what Ghostface got to say on this because I already know Ghostface said we downgraded. My man Keedy Boy, he said Joe Milton is better than Cooper Rush and Drake May. Joe Milton was balling in Tennessee until he got hurt. Now, to say he's better than Cooper Rush, Ghostface Gaming gonna disagree. We have to understand that Cooper Rush is a career backup. So to say he's better than Cooper Rush to me isn't saying much. Cooper Rush is a career backup. Joe Milton doesn't consider himself to be a backup. Y'all do know this, right? Joe Milton considers himself to be a starting quarterback in this league. That's what Joe Milton considers himself as. And he thought he was better than Drake May. And I'm not very sure. Keedy says he's better than Cooper Rush and Drake May. Keedy boy, I have to argue with you on this. And I'm not saying argue with you, but I want to push back on your point. I want you to think about this. See, sometimes we think about these conversations in a vacuum. But I want you to take it outside of the vacuum, Keedy boy. I want you to take it outside of the vacuum. It's the same thing that I said about Keenan Allen. This is not a Dallas Cowboys question. Joe Milton III isn't a New England question. Because I'm going to say it again. let's take Dak Prescott out of the equation. I know we think this is possible. Let me make sure. I want to pull something up before I say this, okay? Okay, Drake May. I want to make sure I pull this up. Okay. Drake May. I'm trying to remember where Drake May went. But I know he was a first-round draft pick. Was Drake May I don't think he was the number 1 overall pick, was he? But I'm going to show you something about Drake May that you're going to find to be absolutely amazing. Because a lot of people really considered Drake May to be him. They really liked Drake May. They really did. Hold on, let me pull this up over here. Okay, so I want you to think about this. I want you to think about this outside, because this is not, I'm telling y'all, sometimes we got to think outside of the box on this stuff. Drake May was drafted the number 3 overall quarterback in the 2024 NFL draft. Let's take New England out of the equation. Why wasn't Joe Milton III the number 3 overall quarterback in the NFL draft in 2024? Why not? Why not? And the reason why I'm asking this question is, why do we think that some of these teams are so dumb that they all passed over Joe Milton III? They all passed over Joe Milton III. So we're saying for 6 rounds, Joe Milton III was passed over. Because he was in the 2024 draft. And if someone said, so Kitty Boy said he beat Drake, he was better than Drake May. So let's put this into perspective. Because I don't want to talk about when he was hurt. I want to talk about when he wasn't hurt. Because if he's better than Drake May, and Drake May was drafted number 3 overall, that means that Joe Milton III is better than Michael Penix Jr., who was drafted number 8, McCarthy, who was drafted number 10, Bo Nix, who was drafted number 12. If he's better than Drake May, he has got to be better than the quarterbacks behind Drake May. And we have to ask ourselves the right question. If this dude is that talented, why didn't these other teams get him? Why didn't these other teams get him? They saw him at Tennessee his last year. I saw him at Tennessee his last year. And when I saw him at Tennessee in his last year, I was like, Joe Milton III kid is pretty good. I'm not an avid college football watcher, but for some reason I was able to see a couple of his games. And I think there was a wide receiver on Tennessee that I really liked. But Joe Milton III, 6 years in college. He played his last year. He started his last season. If he's better than Drake May, If this man is better than Drake May, he's got to be better than Michael Penix Jr. And if he's capable of taking Dak Prescott's spot, I would dare say he's better than all these quarterbacks. How is it that Jaden Daniels is smaller than Joe Milton III? Smaller than him in stature. Doesn't have the arm he has. How is it that Jaden Daniels went before Joe Milton III? I'm just saying all of this because I'm telling us, man, I don't think we be thinking right sometimes. And then when we get these people in, the first thing we start talking about is they're better than Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott better not get hurt. Yeah, he better not get hurt. I hope he doesn't. But if he does, I think he's still going to get his job back, even unless the injury is catastrophic. But again, William Mills, Cooper Rush is a great backup. Yeah, he's a good backup. Great if you want to call it, but only a several starter if your starter gets injured. Exactly. Cooper Rush is hey man, your starter go down. Okay, how many games? 5 or 6? Okay, he probably get you 4-2. If the defense is playing well, he'll get you 5-1. But if you come up against a real staunchy team, you get ready for 3-3. I'm telling you, man, Joe Milton III, and I'm gonna show you this article here that I do find to be fascinating, that is really putting some things into perspective as it pertains to Joe Milton III, to bring some of the Dak Prescott haters, because I believe that most of us level-headed Dallas Cowboy fans understand Joe Milton isn't better than Dak Prescott. Joe Milton is a developmental quarterback the Cowboys are trying to fast track the same way they did Trey Lance. Trey Lance was nowhere near ready to be the second string quarterback. The Cowboys did the same thing with him they're doing with Joe Milton. I've already heard in camp they're giving Will Grier very few snaps right now in OTAs. We're going to see what happens when they get into actual training camp. We're going to see what happens then. And also we'll see what happens in the preseason. But I would not be surprised if the Cowboys' plan is, as much as they say they're creating a competitive atmosphere, when it comes to this quarterback thing, I will not be surprised if the Dallas Cowboys march Joe Milton III out there in the preseason, and Joe Milton III, similar to Trey Lance, they give him the majority of the snaps. I hope that's not the case. But I will not be surprised if that's what they do. I would love to see them, rather than saying we're going to go, I would rather than say, we're going to have both of y'all play a half. I'd rather the Cowboys say, Joe Milton, this your game. Will Grier, this your game. And then we'll decide what we do in the third game, which the third game is pretty much dress rehearsal most of the time anyway. But I'm taking them into those first 2 games. I want to see what both of you got. And really allow Will Grier to compete so that he can also push Joe Milton. Because a lot of people don't realize, see, Brian Schottenheimer at the expense of Dak Prescott, when they're asking him if Joe Milton is a developmental quarterback, he didn't want to call Joe Milton that. That's really what Joe Milton is. He's a developmental quarterback. He hasn't had enough snaps. He wasn't a starter in those 6 years in college. He's similar to Trey Lance. He hasn't actually started a lot of games, but he's 25. He also is a developmental quarterback that the Cowboys are trying to fast track into the second position. Ghostface said Cooper Rush did a great job backing up Dak, succeeded to a 95 record. Yeah. Rush was one of the best backups in Cowboys history. You don't get paid $13 million if you ain't a good backup. Yeah. Problem is he's a backup. He's a career backup. And never had an issue with Cooper Rush. Well, I ain't gonna say I didn't have an issue with Cooper Rush. But what bothered me about Cooper Rush was people were trying to say he was better than Dak Prescott, and there was no universe where that was true. Our Shake and Bake, what's up with you? Yeah, Jerry got fleeced. Yeah, it means Jerry got fleeced. Goes to Mike McCarthy. Yes, sir. I'm telling us. Man. Edward Frazier said that Milton was drafted in the 5th and nobody really wanted him, but he's going to take Dak's job. Yeah. Edward, people don't ask these questions. They don't understand. And it's not a New England question. It's not a New England question. The question is, why did the whole league pass on him? Now, for example, Shedeur Sanders, we know why the league passed on him. Nothing to do with talent. Shedeur Sanders, we know why they passed on Shedeur Sanders. This was all about Deion and them sending a message and all these different things. And now we got Deion over there in Cleveland, and from everything I've been following, they got now they're talking about already it's looking early like it's going to be down to Joe Flacco and Shedeur Sanders. Well, if it's down to Joe Flacco and Shedeur Sanders, I'm starting Shedeur Sanders. I'm not starting Joe Flacco. For what? There's no future with Joe. No, if that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and start Shedeur Sanders. But when it comes to Joe Milton, we know what's going on with this. Ghostface said Milton ain't making $13 million, don't have a 9-5 record. No. Downgrade to Cooper Rush and also Trey Lance. That's Ghostface. The ghost of Mike McCarthy said when the well-run NFL franchises in terms of personnel and scouting are looking to trade a player, it's a pretty good sign not to give up a 4th-round pick on that player. And notice, the Cowboys didn't do that this time, did they? Shoot, they didn't do that this time. They didn't do it. And so, man, we have to understand. We have to understand that the league, that's the name I was trying to think of the other day, CW. Ryan Leaf. Appreciate it. Ryan Leaf. Boy, y'all remember how they were talking about Ryan Leaf? Shoot. Boy, Ryan Leaf was supposed to be, Ryan Leaf was supposed to come in and just tear the NFL up. Yeah, he tore it up, all right. Boy, Ryan Leaf, man. Boy. Ryan Leaf, big quarterback, big arm. Nope. Didn't turn out either. Jamarcus Russell, big quarterback, big arm. Man, Jamarcus Russell would get on his knees and throw the football 40, 50 yards like it was nothing. Yeah, all that stuff is great until you get between those hashes. All that stuff is great until you get between those hashes. And let me read this article over here, and then I'm going to get back to your comments, because look at this. It says the Pats' last foray into the first-round quarterback game withered in the final years of Bill Belichick's era. Mac Jones never developed beyond his rookie season and was ultimately traded to Jacksonville this offseason. New England sees more promise under May. The UNC sports prototypical size at 6'4", 223 pounds, with an enviable arm talent. Now, notice what they're saying about him versus Joe Milton. And this is not a knock on Joe Milton. When people talk about Joe Milton, they say he has a cannon for an arm. When they talk about Drake May, they say enviable arm talent. See, when someone says you have arm talent versus you have a cannon, arm talent means you got touch, you got timing, you can put the ball to the receivers on the run. There are so many things that you can do with the way that you throw. You have a versatile throwing. You're very versatile in the way you throw the ball. But if I say you got a cannon for an arm, well, all I'm saying is that you can throw the ball far. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, you can throw the ball far. Or you can throw it hard. Or you can throw it, you got a fastball that maybe you can put some throws in some places that, maybe a normal person wouldn't be able to do. But when you're looking for a quarterback, man, that's not what you're not looking for a quarterback that can throw it. You're not looking for a quarterback that can throw it a mile. I'm not looking for a quarterback that can throw it a mile. I'm looking for a quarterback that can put the ball exactly where I want it. That's what I'm looking for with a quarterback. Exactly what I wanted. And so when we read this, you notice what they're saying about Drake May. And so they're talking about now, they're going to talk about kind of where they see him. It says in 2 seasons as the starter at UNC, May threw 7,929 yards with 62 touchdowns and 16 interceptions. In his first season in the driver's seat, he completed 66.2% of 66.2% of 517 attempts for 4,321 yards. And again, I'm just saying, when you look at this, and I'm looking at the overall thing, and now let's look at what they're saying about where they have Joe Milton. And I think this is very interesting, man, when they start talking about where these doggone backup quarterbacks. It says here, and let's look at see if we can see the ranking. These are the rankings of the NFL's 32 backup quarterbacks of 2025. Our top player has earned over $330 million in his career, while our number 2 signal caller has taken a team to the Super Bowl. So these are the backup quarterbacks. Let's check this out and see what they got. Okay. So number 32, Kyle Trask. Have no clue who he is. Tyson Bagent. Don't even know who he is. Davis Mills, Houston Texans. Don't know who he is. Mills had 0 starts since the organization drafted C.J. Stroud in 2023, but the 21 third-round pick has impressed Houston as a QB2, evident by the 1-year, $5 million extension. Mitchell Trubisky. Boy, there's a lot of people that still wondering what they were thinking on him. Trubisky drastically improved during his first stint with the Bills. However, that wasn't the case after 2 shaky seasons with the Steelers. Starting 7 games, but Mitchell Trubisky, we all know who he is. Nick Mullins, not really familiar with him. Spencer Rattler. This was another dude that a lot of people thought was going to be really good, but then kind of got shocked at kind of where he got drafted. And so, I don't know. Spencer Rattler, I would say he may get his chance, but they did draft a quarterback if I'm not mistaken. Then you got Mason Rudolph. I never thought he was good. Never understood what Pittsburgh was doing there. Will Levis. I'm not sure if Will Levis, not really sure that Will Levis got the opportunity, but again, whatever it was they thought he did, they got Cam Ward. 24, Josh Dobbs. 23, Kenny Pickett. Wow, okay. 22, Jalen Milroe, Seattle Seahawks. And I'll say this, it's not too bad. I mean, he's a rookie. Jalen Milroe struggles as a passer, but his freakish athleticism could make him a dangerous playmaker. I think he's going to be fine in the pros. I really do. Taylor Heineke, we know all about Heineke. Jarrett Stidham, been around, seemed like this dude been around at least. Okay, no, Stidham. Stidham used to be with the Raiders, wasn't he? Yeah, 2 productive starts for the Raiders toward the end of 23 season. Okay, yeah, I remember Stidham. Denver's backup. Tanner McKee. Tyrod Taylor, 18. Man, let me tell you something. Tyrod Taylor, let me update this so you can see what I'm doing here. Tyrod Taylor, I don't care what anyone says. This man has the worst luck in the world. Tyrod Taylor played so good when he was with Cleveland. Played well, got hurt, and they didn't give him the job back because they had drafted. Y'all remember who they drafted, but Tyrod Taylor. I don't feel like Tyrod Taylor lost his job because he wasn't playing well. I mean, they drafted Baker Mayfield. They wanted him to be the starter. Then he went to the Chargers. They punctured his doggone lung trying to give him a shot. And he was going to be the starting quarterback there for a while. I mean, Tyrod Taylor has to be the most unluckiest guy in the world. And I think even when he was at Buffalo, he was doing pretty good. It says Taylor is a proven backer with ideal traits for the role. The 14-year veteran has 58 career starts and excels at protecting the football with 68 career passing touchdowns compared to 29 interceptions. Taylor does tend to frustrate football fans due to his safe approach on the field, but coaches don't matter as long as the offense runs efficiently. And at number 17, Joe Milton III. Some might argue that this ranking is too low for Joe Milton after dazzling in his Week 18 start last season for the Patriots. So they're right. People are using one game. I was laughing at Dallas Cowboy fans talking about it. You see this Buffalo Bills game. They said it just right here. However, Milton, who went 22 or 29 for 241 yards and 2 total touchdowns, faced the Buffalo Bills backups. There were so many people mad at me for saying this. There were people in the community mad at me for saying this. Some even accused me of lying for saying this. Joe Milton III played against backups in that Buffalo game. And this is why it frustrates me that even the Dallas media, when they're talking about him, yeah, Joe, yeah, that last game against Buffalo, that scrimmage? You mean that bye week for the Patriots where they were basically trying not to get hurt? The New England Patriots were playing for real, and the Bills were like, we have nothing to play for. We're just not, we can't just forfeit the game, so we have to play, and we don't want to get hurt. Joe Milton went out there with backups, and it doesn't mean he didn't make some throws. Doesn't mean he didn't evade the pocket. Evade, getting sacked and all those things. But man, you gotta understand. Do people not realize it's the game before they go to the playoffs? They're not trying. They were just not trying the way people want to make it out like they were. No. They faced the Buffalo Bills back up the week before the playoffs. Look at this. The Patriots were quick to trade the 2024 sixth-round pick. So we think all these other teams are done? Are the teams who didn't draft him, are they done? This isn't a New England thing. People say, oh, he was better than Drake May. They only kept. Well, hold on. Let's deal with what happened before Drake May got drafted. Why didn't they draft Joe Milton instead? Why didn't any of those teams draft Joe Milton? Because they got tape on him. They have tape on him. They know what he was in college. These guys, I'm telling you, they're better evaluators than we sometimes give them credit for. It says, look at this. Now, this is the part here that's kind of just kind of crazy to me. They say, but the Cowboys were impressed with Milton's lone start. One start. Sending this year's fifth-round pick to New England to land Dak Prescott's backup. And what I'm laughing at, they're already calling him the backup. Is he the backup? I guess so. Is he the backup? Let's look who's in front of him. They're saying Hendon Hooker. They're saying Zach Wilson is better than him. Gardner Minshew. Ghostface, there's your man. Cooper Rush. They got him at 13. They're saying he's better. Aiden O'Connell. They're saying Sam Howell. Jacoby Brissett. Malik Willis? Now, why am I saying this? So you're telling me this guy's going to beat out Dak Prescott? They're saying Andy Dalton is a better backup. Marcus Mariota. Let me tell you something about Marcus Mariota. I think Marcus Mariota is really good. I would love to see a team give Marcus Mariota an opportunity to be a starter for their team. I really would. Marcus Mariota to me is really good. Mac Jones. Jackson Dart, rookie, of course. Jake Browning. Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones may find himself in a starting position somewhere. Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm struggling with Jimmy Garoppolo at number 2, but I understand because he's made a Super Bowl appearance. I know what they're saying. I'm struggling with Jimmy Garoppolo at number 2. Jimmy G ain't been Jimmy G for a while. And then, of course, they have Kirk Cousins at number 1. And I kind of understand why they got Kirk Cousins at number 1. Kirk Cousins is probably going to be a starter here pretty soon. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to get tired of playing around with Aaron Rodgers, and they're probably going to get Kirk Cousins. Take on a big contract if they do, but hey, they may very well do it. But these are the players. I'm sorry, I got some stuff going on with my computer here lately. I'm sorry, I told you the names, but I didn't let you see the screen. But of course, they got Kirk Cousins at number 1. And so that's why, for me, when you start talking about, Joe Milton, I'm glad Joe Milton is here. I hope we never have to use him. But I hope we get him ready so that if we do have to use him, maybe he can stand in the way Cooper Rush did, and he can win 2 or 3 games. If Dak is out 5 games, he can do it. But all this talk about Joe Milton taking Dak Prescott's spot, that stuff has got to stop. CW, there's not enough tape on Milton based on lack of playing time. And they just said it. The Cowboys based it on 1 game. But don't think that these teams don't get an opportunity to see everything they need to know on these players. And believe me, there is no way, I just cannot believe, that if Joe Milton III was wickedly, not just talented, because people always say the talent. You've already heard Brian Schottenheimer say, the talent is there. But see, got to be very careful when people are saying that about you. If someone is saying the talent is there, but you're not the starter, they're actually saying something about you. They're saying, yeah, the talent is there, but the skill isn't. The skill isn't there. It's just not there. You can't use the talent. You can't use the talent because it's not refined enough. Yeah, he can throw a ball 100 yards. Talent. He can run a 4.40. I don't think he does, but okay, talent. 245 pounds. Okay, he's got size. But can he play quarterback? Well, that's a whole different discussion. Can he play starting quarterback in this league? That's a whole different discussion. Because I'm telling you, when it comes to playing quarterback, isn't it strange? When you look back at this list, let me tell you what this list, what every quarterback on this list has in common to me, and it's very telling. Kirk Cousins. Would anybody consider him to be an athletic quarterback? Big quarterback, big arm, elusive. Jimmy Garoppolo, would anybody consider him to be those things? Would anybody consider Daniel Jones? Now, Daniel Jones is an athletic quarterback. That dude, Daniel Jones, is sneaky fast. But look at the majority of these people. Jake Browning. Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart's a bigger quarterback. I think he can move some. Mac Jones. I mean, when you look at these quarterbacks, Marcus Mariota, he's an athlete too. Andy Dalton. Malik Willis. He's an athlete. He'll never be a starter in this league, I believe, though. Jacoby Brissett. More of a traditional quarterback. Sam Howell. Somewhat of an athlete. Aiden O'Connell. I mean, just think about Cooper Rush. Just look at all these quarterbacks. Gardner Minshew, the second. Anybody noticed anything yet? Zach Wilson. Has anybody noticed anything yet? Hendon Hooker. Joe Milton III. Are any of them built like Joe Milton III? Big arm and all the things that people say? Nope. But they're still in front of him. They're still in front of him. Quarterback isn't about size and all these things that impress people. It's just not about all that. The question becomes, can you play the position? That is the very reason why Kyler Murray is way smaller than Joe Milton, went in the first round, making millions of dollars, and they're now trying to build a franchise around him in Arizona. They're trying to build a franchise around him. And so, again, I mean, I'm hoping that Joe Milton, same thing I wanted for Trey Lance. I want him to get an opportunity. I don't want him to get an opportunity in Dallas as the starting quarterback, because if he gets the opportunity in Dallas, that means that somewhere along the way, Dak Prescott went down. I like Joe Milton, but I don't want to see Joe Milton. I don't want to see Joe Milton until Dak Prescott's career is over. I don't want to see him. Because, and again, I hope the Cowboys actually allow Will Grier to compete with him. And don't just hand him the job. You're saying that you're trying to create a competitive atmosphere. Well, he's not competing with Dak Prescott, but you do need to have him competing with Will Grier. Because if he can't beat Will Grier, don't hand him the job. If he can't beat Will Grier, you don't need him to be the quarterback here. And let's not forget, I haven't heard anything about Donovan Smith yet. I want to see if they let Donovan Smith get some opportunities. I hope they let Donovan Smith get some opportunities too. Donovan Smith is a big quarterback too. And it's crazy when you think about Donovan Smith. Let me pull up Donovan Smith real quick. They were actually saying that this kid, Donovan Smith, they were actually saying for a while that Donovan Smith was projected to go in the first round. What? Donovan Smith, he's on the Cowboys team. Donovan Smith was projected to go in the first round. It's amazing how things change. Had a bad last year. Let me see if I can pull it up. He was projected to go in the first round. He's there too. I mean, I really want to see if the Cowboys is going to give him an opportunity. Look at this. Let me see here. I don't know if I've ever seen this kid, but we got him on the Dallas Cowboys. Donovan Smith played for the Houston Cougars. Donovan Smith, I don't know what this means, is the next Donovan Smith. It says at first glance, Smith indeed seems to have what it takes. Even television and this is the guy. When I think about big quarterbacks, this is the guy I think people have in their minds. Even television commentators mention his name and the names of former NFL quarterbacks. They all have the same thing in common. Dante Culpepper. Big quarterback, big arm. Vince Young. I wouldn't say a big quarterback, big arm, slender. Cam Newton. Physical specimen. In the same sentence during the 10 games of Smith I studied in 2023. Smith's game film reveals inconsistencies that cannot and should not be ignored. If you read Joe Milton, it kind of reads similar. But the crazy thing about Donovan Smith, first round grade. First round grade. They were saying that this dude was going to go in the first round. And some people had him projected going to the New York Jets. Look at this dude. I mean, people talk about how big Joe Milton is. Look at Donovan Smith. Donovan Smith is 6'5". Let me show you this. Donovan Smith is 6'5". Look at this. 241 pounds. Look at this. Daniel Kelly's 2024 summer grade. It says 4th round here. I wouldn't select him. Projected by 1.4% of the NFL draft community to be a first round pick as of May 25th, 2024. He's on the Cowboys too. He's on the Cowboys too. I'd love to see the Cowboys. I'd love to see if he can. Are they going to give him an opportunity? Prototype size, arm strength, and athleticism with underdeveloped footwork passing, operates out of shotgun formation, good ball handling skills, tough, poised, focused, downfield minded, spreads the ball around, inconsistent progressions, but did show the eye maturity to look off defenders and make split-second throwing decisions in other directions. Navigates the pocket well, decent accuracy, rolling out left or right, monetary lapses of judgment, no yards after the catch friendly. If you read this, it almost reads like Joe Milton. Deep ball accuracy charted 15 out of 35. Tendency to overthrow or underthrow deep and draw pass interference calls. A physical runner, doesn't slide much, isn't typically going to run away from defenses. The offense bogs down for long stretches when he gets out of rhythm. The film doesn't match his attributes. He's on the Cowboys too. And this is showing me something about the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are really kind of telling us, they're telegraphing what their future, they're telegraphing to us kind of what their future intentions are. I got a funny feeling the Cowboys are going to be looking at a bigger quarterback in the future. I think they like all the running. I do. I think they like all of the running. Louise says, why was Dak a 4th round pick but only has 2 playoff wins? Dak Prescott actually wasn't a 4th round pick. Dak Prescott, if I'm not mistaken, Dak Prescott was not projected to be a 4th round pick. Dak Prescott wound up, anybody remember? Dak Prescott wound up getting in trouble. Dak Prescott's draft stock fell. Dak Prescott, if I'm not mistaken, what was it, a DWI? I mean, DUI. I don't know why I call it DWI. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize, man, Dak Prescott was really good in college. And then when he went to the Senior Bowl, shoo. Dak Prescott showed out in the Senior Bowl. And if I'm not mistaken, he was the MVP of the Senior Bowl. Dak Prescott's draft stock suffered due to a DUI arrest shortly before the 2016 NFL Draft. Yep, remember it. Yep, remember it. Yep, led to Dak Prescott falling. And that was one of the reasons why Dak Prescott was saying when he was talking about Shedeur Sanders, he said, it don't matter where you're drafted. You're going to get your opportunity because Dak Prescott was supposed to be. Some people are saying that Dak Prescott was projected to be top of the 2nd round. Some people are saying he was projected to be top of the 2nd round. And so had it not been for that, yeah, Dak Prescott would have been a higher draft pick. Let me see here. I got something else on this too. Because again, a lot of people didn't know who Dak Prescott was if you didn't watch college football. But if you watch college football, Dak Prescott went up against the Alabama Crimson Tide at Mississippi State, and they were number 1 in the country. Dak Prescott is the quarterback. People hate on this dude way too much. Dak Prescott had Mississippi State at number 1 in the country, and nobody can tell you who those players were. Nobody can tell you who the players were that were playing with him. And so, again, when he played in that Senior Bowl, man, he did his thing. And I think Jason Garrett was one of the guys who really Jason Garrett was one of the guys who really, really pushed for him. And so, again, I'm just telling you, Dak Prescott, man, he was supposed to go higher than what he went. Yeah, he was supposed to go higher than what he went. That DUI dropped him down. I remember when they was talking about that, about him and that DUI, and they wound up getting it cleared up. But by that time, Dak Prescott is he's a fourth rounder. But yeah, Dak was pretty good, man. I'm telling you, Dak was pretty good in college. Let me see if I can find you something here. I saw somebody post this. I saw somebody post this on X the other day. See if I can find the picture. Let's see. Let me show you a couple of photos. I don't know if any of y'all ever seen this stuff, because I'm just telling you, man. People do not understand how good this Dak Prescott was. People don't understand how good this dude was, and it's no wonder. As much as people hate on Dak Prescott, it's no wonder why he's so good now. Look at this. Then I'm gonna come to some of your comments. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me show you some of this stuff. Look at this. Guess who that is? It's Dak Prescott. Yep, that's Dak Prescott. The Bulldogs are now the top dog, and polls be danged. The Rebels belong right behind them. That's Dak Prescott. I'm telling you, man, this dude was way better than what people give him credit for. Still was way better than what people give him credit for. Yeah, Dak was a baller, man. Dak was an absolute baller. See, this is the stuff that people won't show you. They don't talk about this stuff. No, this dude was not supposed to be a 4th round pick. This Dak Prescott. Beware of the dog. Mississippi State's Dak Prescott brings Heisman mayhem to Stark Vegas. This Dak Prescott they talking about. If you would have listened to people like Colin Cowherd and media members when Dak Prescott was coming into this league, he'll be a backup. Yeah, really? This dude right here is going to be a backup that had Mississippi State at number 1 in the country, and nobody remembers none of the players he played with. Dak Prescott. I'm telling you, man, this dude was getting magazine covers, everything, man, because, I mean, he was good. I mean, he really was, man. He was a great college quarterback in actuality. And he was suffering the same thing then that he's suffering from now. A good to great quarterback. And I think Dak Prescott's a great quarterback. Great quarterback doesn't always have the weapons. But I do think we're on our way. And I don't think this is going to be the case in the next year. And I already think he's already got some good weapons going into this year. But I think the Cowboys, I don't think they're done. I do not think they are done. I think they're going to continue to get Dak Prescott even more weapons as this time goes on. But I'm telling this, man, shoot, Dak Prescott was a beast in college, and people do not understand how good this dude actually was. He wasn't playing against trash opponents either. Dak Prescott is a baller, man. Straight up. And so in actuality, Dak Prescott and that DUI knocked Dak Prescott down to the point of where he's in the 4th round. Jason Garrett liked him. You know, they always do the coaching for the Senior Bowl. He impressed everybody at the Senior Bowl, got MVP. Jason Garrett liked him. I think he's the one that maybe sold the Joneses on Dak Prescott. And here we are today. And so we'll see what happens as time goes on with this. I think Dak Prescott has got a really good window right now. I think he's got a really good window right now. Lisa Worley, that's what my question is. Is he better than Greer? Because I can tell you this, it seems like to me they're trying to they're handing Joe Milton the job, at least it seemed like in OTAs. So I hope they at least give Will Greer a chance to compete when it comes to I hope they give him a chance to compete when it comes to training camp. The Ghost of Mike McCarthy says Vrabel has his flaws as a head coach, but he took dysfunctional 10 Tennessee to the playoffs. Is a Belichick assistant and former player. If he's looking to deal away a quarterback to me, then I'm scratching my head. Ghost of Mike McCarthy, I said the same thing. There is no way that Mike Vrabel is going to go look at tape on Joe Milton. There's no way Robert Kraft, if this guy's that good. I have a hard time believing that this dude is that good and they're going to let him go. I got a hard time believing that. I do. Edward Frazier, he said if Rush was good, why didn't he start with the Giants? Hey, Edward, they cut him. Yeah, they cut him. CW, he was good in college and is the number 2 in Dallas. Yeah, he was good in college for 1 year. And that's my issue. He only had 1 year. He's basically, CW, you think about this. Trey Lance was good in college. Neither one of them, think about this. Neither one of them were as good as Dak Prescott was in college. Neither one of them. Trey Lance was better than Milton in college. Yeah, Lance was better than Milton in college. He was. Louise, Milton is just like Trey. He has to learn touch control, his power, but that's why we're talking about him, because he is learning. He's controlling it. We had 2 years with Trey and he couldn't. Yeah, and the issue is with Milton, at this point, he's no different than Trey Lance. He's no different than Trey Lance. And I heard, and I was wondering about this. I was wondering about something. That Brian Schottenheimer said. Yeah, I was kind of wondering about, him and Tennessee and all of that stuff. I'm just wondering with like I said, I'm just wondering with Joe Milton. You can't just hand him the job. You can't just hand him the job. You got to let Will Greer compete. You got to let even Donovan Smith compete. You don't want to just give him the job. You don't want to do that. It'll be a huge mistake. Let's see if he can beat Will Greer. Because if he can beat Will Greer, okay, I think we're getting somewhere. I think we're getting somewhere. Louis said, I used to love Mike White. I thought he was going to be a good quarterback. Yeah, Mike White. Yep. A lot of people thought Mike White was going to be good. Boy. I remember that thing with Ryan Leaf, boy. That boy Ryan Leaf got into the league, boy. That boy crashed and burned, man. That boy crashed and burned in the league, boy. I think the league was too much for Ryan Leaf, man. Ryan Leaf ain't the first college quarterback, though, came in this league and didn't do well, man. That boy just could not do it, man. Ghostface says it ain't a problem being a backup. That's what he is. But I would tell you the reason why they said he was better than Dak, because he did good and Dak choked a lot. Nah, I just can't go with that. Every statistic showed the Cowboys were better than Dak Prescott. I can't go with that. I can't go with that. That is so mythological. That's the myth that people were painting about Cooper Rush. I mean, we were saying this stuff about Cooper Rush, 4-1 snapshot. 4-1 snapshot. But if you go back, and I've already done this, and I won't do it tonight. Man, I already went back and did this, Ghostface. Man, I remember, though, that year when he got that 4-1 record. Man, go back and look at that. Cooper Rush did absolutely nothing in those wins, hardly. Absolutely nothing in those wins. He got worse and worse as he went on. The defense was winning those games. Cooper Rush, no, man. Cooper Rush, There's a reason why the Giants cut him. No. William Mills, Ryan Leaf. Boy, that boy Ryan Leaf was crazy, man. I'm telling you, that boy Ryan Leaf was on a different level, boy. That boy was on a different level. Former Raiders linebacker Kirk Morrison tells two crazy stories on the Dan Patrick Show about Jamarcus Russell during his rookie season. Yeah, if you haven't listened to them, he said then go do it. He said it's crazy. Man, I'm telling you, Jamarcus Russell, this is why when people say stuff like you're talented, you better be careful when they're saying you're talented. Sometimes they're saying you're talented, but you don't have the skill. And everybody who has talent, you can't always make that translate. You just can't make it translate. It's harder than people think. Blue Star in the crib. What up, man? What it do? Yes, sir. Goes to Mike McCoy that said Milton was in college for 6 years for some reason. Again, yes. Couldn't win the starting job. Transferred, then still couldn't win it until his sixth and final season. That alone makes me suspect. Yep. Trey Lynch didn't do that. Exactly on Joe Milton. But again, this is why I say I just want Joe Milton. I would love for the Dallas media to leave Joe Milton alone. Let this kid grow. Let this kid develop. And let's hope we don't have to use him. You already have a quarterback. What's the hoopla about it? Only in Dallas are we doing this. In Dallas, it's the only place we're doing this. I think I saw today there may be one other, I can't remember the team. I think there's one other team. But think about this. Daniel Jones is with the Colts. You don't see all this hoopla about Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones may arguably be better. He's not bigger. He may be better. You don't see all this hoopla. We just looked at this list of backup quarterbacks. Y'all don't find it to be strange? Y'all don't find this to be strange? Tell me which one of these quarterbacks they're talking about. These are all the backup quarterbacks in this league. Somebody explain to me why they're not talking about these quarterbacks. Why not? Why are they not talking about these quarterbacks? Baker Mayfield's been hurt multiple times. Baker Mayfield's been hurt. We're not talking about Kyle Trask. And I'm gonna go to some. I want to go to some significant ones. Nobody's talking about these backup quarterbacks behind these quarterbacks. Nobody's talking about them. Nobody talks about backup quarterbacks. Even Kenny Pickett. They're already saying Kenny Pickett is looking better. They're already saying that, and I don't know what this article is talking about, They're talking about Pickett at QB2. I've been listening to the local people over there in Cleveland, and they're all saying the same thing. They're saying it should do a Sanders and Flacco. I don't know what this thing is talking about. Milroe, Tyler Heineke. No one's talking about backup quarterbacks. They're not talking about Tyrod Taylor behind Justin Fields. This is the only team. This is the only team I know of that every opportunity they get. And y'all forgive me. I gotta do some work on my computer. This is the only team I know of right here. The Dallas Cowboys. We're the only team I know of that every opportunity the media get. Have y'all not noticed? Every time Brian Schottenheimer sits down, first question they ask, how's Joe Milton? Why? Why in the world are we asking about the backup quarterback? Why? Why are we the team that's doing this? Zach Wilson, former number 1 pick. No one's asking about him behind Tua. And we know Tua is one fall away. We're not even talking about a football play. This dude is one fall away from being out the league. Nobody's talking about Zach Wilson. Nobody's talking about Zach Wilson. Nope, they're not going to do it. Nobody's going to do this stuff. Sam Howell over in Minnesota, they're not shoving a microphone in his face. They're not asking him this stuff. Do y'all know how many backup quarterbacks move teams every single season? Backup quarterbacks move teams every single season. You think people are shoving microphones in their face saying, hey, Malik Willis, how's it feel to be in Green Bay? Were you looking for a change of scenery? Are you really? No. Andy Dalton behind Bryce Young. And everybody know Bryce Young's struggling. Nobody's talking about Dalton. Nobody's talking about it. Mariota, you're not going to hear that talk. You got to tell me. People can make up any excuse they want to. We're the only ones that do this stuff. Our own media, we're the only ones that do this stuff. Every time they get an opportunity, first thing they do, hey, how's Joe Milton doing? Why? Why are we doing this? If you don't think that's messy, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, and it's no excuse. Well, Dak Prescott's been hurt. Yeah. So is Joe Burrow. So is Tua Tagovailoa. Yeah, Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know if anybody's been hurt more than Tua Tagovailoa. This dude was almost out of football. They bring in Zach Wilson. I don't see the headlines about Zach Wilson going to the Miami Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa because of his injuries. He may be in trouble. We can make up any excuse we want to. The Dak hate is senseless. It's senseless. But I can tell you this, the league is speaking. For every Dak Prescott hater who say whatever you want to say about Joe Milton, the league spoke on Trey Lance. The league spoke on Cooper Rush. The league is speaking on Joe Milton. If Joe Milton was anywhere close to being able to take Dak Prescott's spot, I don't care what anyone says, he is not on Dallas's team. This league is starving for quarterbacks. And I guarantee you, the New York Jets took Justin Fields over Joe Milton III. Let that sink in. They took Justin Fields over Joe Milton III. I'm telling this, man, this stuff that we do in Dallas, the Dallas media, man, it just irks me when the stuff that even the Dallas media does. Why do you continue to talk about Joe Milton III? Let the young man develop. Let the young man compete. We don't even know if he can beat out Will Grier. And we'll see if they even give Will Grier an opportunity. We don't even know if Donovan Smith may step up in this thing, and Donovan Smith may have something to say about all of it. And again, I'll even say this part. I'm going to say this part out loud. And we're talking about, for example, winning going to a championship. So if you're going to a championship, wouldn't your backup quarterback matter? And Ghostface, I think you make a very good comment right here. Yeah, we will be holding our breath because I'll be honest with you. Every time Dak Prescott drops back, every time he runs, I hold my breath. I'm like that about quarterbacks in general, but I'm like that. I'm always hoping that when Dak Prescott drops back. I say the same thing to my uncle every year. If Dak Prescott stays healthy, we're winning. But can you say that about Joe Burrow? Joe Burrow's been hurt, man. Justin Herbert's been hurt. In actuality, we should hold our breath most of the time when quarterbacks run, unless they're one of those running quarterbacks. And even with Lamar Jackson, I hold my breath with Lamar Jackson. You know why? Because I know eventually, boy, you keep that up, somebody gonna get a hit on you. Same thing, Cam Newton. They eventually start putting hits on him. You want to run like a running back? You want to put your head down? We're going to really put our head down, but we're going to go at you. Quarterbacks are quarterbacks for a reason. They're not built. Man, they're not built like, they may be, some of them may even be built, but they're not built like a guy who is really running that dang on rock. But I understand that's a good comment, but the reason why I chose it is this. But the Dallas Cowboy fan base, some of us hate Dak Prescott so much that some of us actually think if Dak goes down, the Joe Milton, the third era begins, and he going to take us to the Super Bowl. Same foolish stuff they were saying about Cooper Rush. Dak is down. The last time Dak was down, he went 4-1. Man, there were people this last season talking stupid stuff, talking about, boy, he down. Cooper Rush going to go 8-0. Cooper Rush is going. That's how delusional people were about this man. And it's not their confidence in him. It was their hatred for Dak Prescott. They wanted him to be that successful, to show that Dak wasn't that good. Boy, I'm telling you, these other NFL teams would love to have the problem at quarterback of Dak Prescott. They would show Dallas in a heartbeat. Dak hasn't been and isn't the problem, and Dak hasn't been here for 30 years. The ghost of Mike McCarthy said the NFL quarterbacks, they all also got offensive lines and all wide receiver calls to know. It's a lot to manage, and some quarterbacks simply can't do it. They can't. Boy, I'm telling you, people do not understand how smart quarterbacks really are. Man, these guys, the stuff they have to process is crazy. It's crazy. I'm telling you. Blue Star said this man really said WWE. Who you talking about? We talking about Blue Star. Man, I'm telling this man. It's crazy. Why couldn't Kellen Moore make it as a quarterback? Yeah. Those who can't. I've heard this before, Louise. They say those who can't, they coach. Those who can't, they coach. So, again, I just thought that article on, that thing on Joe Milton III was very, very interesting. And I just want us, again, this is kind of pump the brakes on Joe Milton III. And I really hope the Cowboys I hope the Dallas Cowboys media stay away from that stuff because, again, man, I'm telling us what Dak Prescott is doing. Man, Dak Prescott wasn't even people were saying this dude was done. Man, this dude out here looking like ain't nothing happened. Matty Dubs is talking about it. Man, they talking about Dak Prescott looking like ain't nothing ever even happened out here. Yeah, Dan Mullins, Dak's Mississippi State coach, was even telling NFL teams Dak didn't have the accuracy for the NFL level. I think it was Cowherd that mentioned it once. And it's crazy, you know, for everybody who says that Dak Prescott isn't accurate. Well, I can tell you this. Something's wrong with his completion percentage then. Dak Prescott has one of the highest completion percentages in NFL history. He has one of the highest percentages. Yeah, Blue Star said Dak is easily a top 10 quarterback. Yeah, I think he's top 5. There's no quarterback I could see outside of Allen, Burrow, Lamar, Mahomes. There's no other quarterback I could see picking. No other quarterback outside of those 4 I could see being picked over Dak. I'm telling this, man. Yeah. Lost in translation. You talking about when Dak was in college? Man, I'm telling you, Dak was different. And again, CW, Brady was a 6th or 7th round out of Michigan. Yeah, but Joe ain't Brady. Joe ain't Brady, man. No, Joe ain't Brady. And again, and I will say this part. I do think it matters where you're drafted. I do think it matters. I'm not going to say that. And, Dak said it. Tom Brady said it. But it does matter. It does matter. I think the moral of the story is what they're saying, though, is if you get your opportunity, you take advantage of it. If you get an opportunity, it doesn't matter where you're drafted. But if you don't get an opportunity, the guy who gets drafted in the first round, it does matter because you're going to get an opportunity. If you're drafted in the first round, that matters. You're getting an opportunity. The further down in the draft you are drafted, the less your opportunity. The less your opportunity. The odds are greater. So we have to understand when we start mentioning people like Tom Brady is an anomaly. I mean, man, we got, every time there's a 5th or 6th round draft pick, yeah, man, yeah, Tom Brady's an anomaly. There's only one Tom Brady. There's not another Tom Brady. That's why Tom Brady is a bad example. That's what people don't understand, man. Tom Brady's a bad example. Tom Brady is the last person you should mention in any sentence with Joe Milton III. He the last person. Don't bring up Tom Brady. No 6th round draft pick should look at Tom Brady going, I can do it too. You're not Tom Brady. There's only one Tom Brady. If 6th round draft picks were doing what Tom Brady did every day, every year, or every other year, Tom Brady wouldn't be the anomaly. He wouldn't be the GOAT. He wouldn't be the exception in reality to the rule. A lot of people don't realize the Cowboys have really gotten lucky because their last 2 quarterbacks, I would dare say they're on borderline being anomalies. Tony Romo was undrafted. He's an anomaly. He's an exception to a rule. There are hundreds of undrafted quarterbacks that will never get the opportunity Tony Romo got. They'll never get it. There are 4th round quarterbacks. They'll never get the opportunity. Do we not understand the improbability of a 4th round quarterback starting? The improbability. Dak Prescott came to a team, older starter, was already having some injury issues. Got hurt, and his backup got hurt too. Do we not understand how improbable that is? Not one, both of the quarterbacks got hurt. and you get to start the same season they go and get the best running back in the draft. Interesting. Do we not understand the improbability of that? We'll be talking about a fourth rounder or a guy saying, hey, man, Dak Prescott was a fourth rounder. Are your circumstances going to be the same? I mean, Dak Prescott didn't get an opportunity to go in training camp and beat him out. He didn't sit on the bench for 2 or 3 years and beat him out. Them jokers got injured. Dak took advantage of an opportunity. Tom Brady. He took advantage of an opportunity. I would dare say a lot of people don't realize that first Super Bowl that the New England Patriots went to. I have to admit, I felt sorry for Drew Bledsoe. Bill Belichick is a shrewd operator. Bill Belichick, Drew Bledsoe was doing extremely well. Drew Bledsoe was this dude was a great quarterback. Drew Bledsoe gets hurt. Tom Brady comes in. And trust me when I tell you, Tom Brady did not look like Dak Prescott's rookie year. When Tom Brady took over for Drew Bledsoe, he did not look like Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott ran circles around him. But Tom Brady had a very good defense. See, the first 3 Super Bowls that Tom Brady won, those were defensive-led Super Bowls. It was the latter Super Bowls when they became Tom Brady-led Super Bowls. Tom Brady had a great. How many times is a 6th-round draft pick coach going to be Bill Belichick? How many times? I mean, sometimes people throw that stuff out there like, yeah, man, Tom Brady was a 6th-round draft pick. Are you going to have the same circumstances? The circumstances matter, man. Do we not realize that Tom Brady didn't actually earn that job? And what I mean by that, he didn't beat out Drew Bledsoe. And I really felt sorry for Drew Bledsoe because Bill Belichick is such a shrewd operator. Tom Brady gets hurt. I think it's the game. I'm thinking it was the AFC Championship game. Tom Brady gets hurt. Drew Bledsoe comes in that, hey, Drew Bledsoe wins the game. Of course he'd win the game. Drew Bledsoe was better than Tom Brady. At the time, he was better than Tom Brady. Period in the story. He was better. Won the game. Bill Belichick still let Tom Brady start the Super Bowl. You don't think Drew Bledsoe could have won that Super Bowl? I bet you he does. Drew Bledsoe was better than Tom Brady. When Tom Brady took over as the quarterback of the New England Patriots, Drew Bledsoe was better. Unequivocally, he was better. And I guarantee you they still win that Super Bowl. Circumstances matter. Drew Bledsoe could have won that Super Bowl just as easy, if not easier. He'd have won it. I guarantee you he'd have won it. He won the game before. He'd have won it. The circumstances are not the same. And that's why I'm always laughing when people saying, yeah, man, shoot, Tom Brady, boy, he's this. You're not going to have those same circumstances. Dak Prescott, you're not going to have those same circumstances. How many times do both of the quarterbacks get hurt? It don't happen, man. I'm just telling us. Sometimes, man, we be throwing this stuff out here for granted like, man, anybody can do it. If anybody could do it, anybody could do it. And if it didn't matter where you got drafted, because it actually does. It actually does matter where you get drafted. It does. Because a first-round quarterback is going to get opportunity. He's getting the opportunity. If you're a 6th-round draft pick quarterback, guess what? You need something to happen in your favor. And I'm going to tell you this. Let me tell you about Joe Milton III. I believe this to be true about Joe Milton III. Ask yourself this. Why did he come to the Dallas Cowboys? Doesn't sound like to me that the Dallas Cowboys were his favorite team growing up. But he talked about his family. Why do you think that Joe Milton came to the Dallas Cowboys? Because I can tell you why he came. What's going on, Big Flock 91? Yep, Dak was robbed of the MVP 2023. I can tell you why Joe Milton III came to the Dallas Cowboys. It is blatantly obvious to me. Joe Milton III, whatever teams he had a choice of, and it couldn't have been that many. I'm just telling you, it was not that many. Do not let people fool you. There were not that many opportunities for him to go somewhere, but the Cowboys is one of them. Why would he come to the Cowboys? Joe Milton III came to the Cowboys, I guarantee you, because I would be having the same conversation with Joe Milton III if I was his agent. If we're looking at teams and we got a choice, and let's just say there's 4 teams on there, and the Dallas Cowboys are on that list, if I'm his agent, I would tell him, this is the reason why you may want to go with each one of these teams. And I would have picked the Dallas Cowboys. I'm just thinking in a different frame of mind. Dak Prescott has been hurt. Dak Prescott had an ankle injury. Dak Prescott had a hand injury. Dak Prescott now has had an injury. And he also had a shoulder injury. Dak Prescott also had his hamstring halfway torn off the bone, and he's 31 years of age. Joe, go to Dallas. Yeah, Dak's there. He's a starter. Yeah, go to Dallas, though. Dak's been injured a few times. The backup there isn't there. There is no backup. Will Grier, you can beat Will Grier. If Dak Prescott gets hurt, you're going to have your opportunity. I guarantee you this conversation is happening. There's no way Joe Milton comes here to back up Dak Prescott unless he thinks there's going to be an opportunity for him to start. And the real test of Joe Milton is going to be next season. It'll be the real test. Because if Dak Prescott stays healthy the entire season, will a 26-year-old Joe Milton, will he continue to be patient enough to sit behind Dak Prescott? Because he wasn't patient enough to sit behind Drake May. Where there's smoke, there's fire. I believe some of the things they were saying. I don't know about all of it, but I just don't believe that people are going to be lying on Joe Milton. There's 2 sides to every story. But I guarantee you some of the things they were saying about Joe Milton is true. He thought he was better than Drake May. I guarantee you he thought he was better than he was. And so he comes to Dallas under the impression, I guarantee you under the impression, Dak Prescott's not going to make it. But what does he do if Dak Prescott makes it? What does he do? What begins to happen if Dak Prescott makes it? We'll see what happens down the road with his patience. See, it's easy to have patience now. New environment, learning things. If y'all don't think these people are on social media and they're listening to people talk, you're sadly mistaken. And the moment this media starts talking about Joe Milton listening too. Yeah, Joe Milton is listening too. And I don't think he's going to be quite like Cooper Rush was. Cooper Rush was hearing that talk, and Cooper Rush wasn't listening. Cooper Rush was quick to say, this is Dak's team. We're going to see what Joe Milton does. But again, I hope we don't have to see it. I just hope Dak Prescott stays healthy and everything's everything. Dak Prescott stays healthy and we good to go. Big Flock 91, he said, you just have to be mobile to be at Will Grier Look how Lance made the team last year. I want to see Will Greer. I hope they give Will Greer a chance at an opportunity to compete. Georgie George, I see you with that cowboy hat. I got to get me one. Joe Milton can run that ball, but launch a flamethrower. Yeah, he's talented. But again, Georgie George, always remember, if that's what somebody is saying about you, they're also saying something else about you. Yeah, you're talented. Yeah, you got the tools. You don't got the skill to use them. You ever notice you don't really say that? When's the last time you heard somebody say, yeah, man, Patrick Mahomes, boy, he really talented? That's not what I hear people say about Patrick Mahomes. I don't hear people say stuff like that about Joe Burrow. Yeah, man, Joe Burrow talented. You don't say that. You don't say that about Joe Burrow. You don't say that about Josh Allen. You don't say that about Lamar Jackson. You don't say that about Dak Prescott. Yeah, man, they really talented. No, you don't say that about guys who are highly skilled. You don't say that about highly skilled guys. No, you say stuff like, yeah, boy, that joker is good. What do you mean good? Good at what he do. There's a difference in somebody saying you have talent. I know a lot of people that had talent when I was growing up. Some of them were better than people that actually played the games. They didn't have the skill. They didn't have the discipline. They were not actually good at the position. It's one thing to be talented. It's another thing to be good. Yeah. Big Flock 91 said, Will earned his spot, but that 4th round pick for Trey cut him. Not talent. Yeah. Hey, Big Flock, a lot of people said Will Greer actually beat out Cooper Rush. A lot of people thought that. A lot of people thought he beat out Cooper Rush. But I think the Cowboys had an affinity for him. All right, guys. I'm going to let you guys make it, man. I appreciate you. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. I'll be posting videos throughout the weekend, working on the studio. Got a lot of things to put together in here still. So y'all will be seeing me on video. Not sure you'll be seeing me live until Monday. But again, if the Lord is willing, you never know. You might see me Saturday or Sunday. But of course, you actually are seeing me Saturday because it's Cowboys After Dark. And there'll be people that'll be watching this in the mornings and everything else. So y'all will probably see me again on Monday, but you'll see me on videos. I'll be dropping videos. I got some great videos to drop. Got some videos to drop today and some videos to drop on Sunday. But again, man, appreciate y'all, man. Great chatting. Ghostface, good to see you in here. Ghostface said winning a Super Bowl is best going to championships and Super Bowls, losing in second best, never winning a second round playoff game ain't nothing special. That means you ain't elite. Now again, Ghostface, let me tell you something. Quarterbacks get too much credit when they win, and they get too much credit when they lose. I'm not buying all this elite talk. I'm not buying it. Because Jalen Hurts is not an elite quarterback. But Jalen Hurts' team beat a team with an elite quarterback. Everything you're saying when you talk about elite, nobody said Troy Aikman was elite. Nobody talked about Troy Aikman like that. I'm sorry, they didn't. We did not talk about Troy Aikman like that in the 90s. We were not walking around talking about Troy Aikman is elite. Troy Aikman is top 5. We didn't. When Troy Aikman was in this league, there were absolute great quarterbacks in this league that were better than Troy Aikman. Yeah. A lot of people will tell you who was around in the 90s. There were quarterbacks that were better than Troy Aikman. But you know what they didn't have? They didn't have a better coach. I dare say they didn't even have a better owner. They didn't have a better owner. They didn't have a better coach. And they didn't have a better team. Jim Kelly would have won the same amount of Super Bowls, if not more, on the Dallas Cowboys. And I know he would have. People don't give Jim Kelly credit. Do we not realize Jim Kelly went to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost? Let that sink in. Jim Kelly led the Buffalo Bills to 4 straight Super Bowls. Do we not know how hard it is to get to 4 straight Super Bowls? 4 straight Super Bowls? He kept running into the juggernauts. And the juggernauts were the NFC East. He kept running into juggernauts. We didn't talk like this about Troy Aikman. We didn't. That's the part people don't understand. We did not talk like this about Troy Aikman. We didn't. Man, we had show enough quarterbacks in this league. We had teams that had great players on them. No, Troy Aikman had the best team. Troy Aikman, and again, I challenge anybody. Look at Troy Aikman before 1991. Or you can do 1992 if you want to. Look at Troy pre-1992. Look at Troy post-1996. Tell me what you see. Tell me what you see. I bet you won't tell me he's elite. I bet you won't tell me he's elite. Now, if I ask you about 1992 through 96, you're going to tell me he was elite. You'll tell me he was elite. Why? Because he had an elite team. He had an elite team. That's the part people miss. I don't care nothing about this elite quarterback stuff no more. I don't. I don't care if Dak wins another MVP. I don't care if Dak wins another All-Pro. All I want Dak to do is to win a Super Bowl with this team. That's all I want. And Dak doesn't have to lead this league in yardage. He doesn't have to lead this league in touchdowns. He doesn't have to lead this league in completions. All we need is for Dak Prescott to get the defense he needs, the line he needs, and the weapons he needs, and do what he needs to do to get that Super Bowl. I don't care about all the elite quarterback stuff. I don't. I just think that talk is irrelevant. And Patrick Mahomes, if we didn't learn that this year, we're going to learn it again. Patrick Mahomes was the best quarterback in this league again, but he wasn't on the best team. And he finally got showed up. And I don't even think he got showed up. I mean, it is what it is. The Philadelphia Eagles just had a better team. If you looked at that one game and you said, who's the best quarterback between Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes? Well, if that's the only game you ever saw, you'd say it was Jalen Hurts. But then if you go back and look at the whole thing, you would realize something. Well, that guy Patrick Mahomes is better than that guy. He's better than that guy named Jalen Hurts, but his team, Jalen Hurts' team is better than his. Bingo. Bingo. You don't need elite quarterback play to win a Super Bowl. That is a myth. You do not need elite quarterback play to win a Super Bowl. And Patrick Mahomes hasn't been winning the Super Bowls by himself either. He's had some great players around him. Again, Ghostface, I disagree with you. And if they're not elite, I guarantee you, Ghostface, Dak Prescott would have won on the 90s Cowboys team. Romo would have tore up that 90s Cowboys team. People do not understand what Troy Aikman played on. He had the coach, he had the coaches, he had the players. It is very rare you get that. Troy had it all. I'm not agreeing with you. An elite quarterback it's just gibberish. It's just gibberish. Tom Brady won 3 Super Bowls without elite quarterback play. It's gibberish. I'm not agreeing with you on that. That is just straight jibber jabber. It's jibber jabber. Best teams win Super Bowls. Period. End of story. The best quarterbacks do not win the Super Bowl. The best teams win the Super Bowl. Because if the best quarterbacks won the Super Bowl, I'm sorry, Dan Marino should have won 10 straight. Dan Marino should have won 10 straight with no excuses. Because if it comes down to elite quarterback play, then that man should have more Super Bowls than everybody. Because every quarterback we talk about, I'm sorry, Dan Marino was better than all of them. Dan Fouts should have had multiple Super Bowls. Elite level quarterback should have had multiple Super Bowls. Joe Montana. A lot of people don't understand about Joe Montana. Joe Montana, go look at the players around him in San Francisco. Tell me how many Super Bowls he won outside of San Francisco. Just tell me. I don't even have to think. How many did he win outside of San Francisco? It's just gibberish. It's just jibber jabber. All that elite quarterback talk, it's nonsense. It's actual nonsense. You don't have to be an elite quarterback to win Super Bowls. Because if you had to be an elite quarterback to win Super Bowls, then Patrick Mahomes would have won the one last year too. It's jibber jabber. The best teams win Super Bowls. Period. End of story. Period. End of story. The best teams win. Defenses win championships. All the time. All the time. Defenses win championships. It's very few quarterbacks actually out there like Patrick Mahomes. But even he has lost them. It's jibber jabber. I don't agree with that stuff. I'm done with all the elite quarterback talk. I'm not even having those arguments no more. I'm not having them. Tom Brady did not have elite quarterback play. What was the guy? What was the other guy that won the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles? Was not an elite quarterback. But the Philadelphia Eagles had put together another one of those teams. He came in and won the Super Bowl. He came in and won the first Super Bowl for the Eagles. Nick Foles. I'm not agreeing with you, Ghostface. I can show you every example. I can show you so many examples. All that elite quarterback talk is nonsense. Nick Foles ain't never been an elite quarterback in his life. But he had an elite team around him, and that's why they beat the New England Patriots. Again, we saw the Eagles do it again. The best team beat the team with the elite quarterback. Yeah, Tom Brady by this time is an elite quarterback when they got beat by the Eagles. Not buying what you're talking about, man. It's jibber jabber talk. That's just stuff that people say today. No. John Elway, one of the best quarterbacks to ever play this game. John Elway didn't start cracking them Super Bowls the way he did until Terrell Davis hit the field. Yeah, Terrell Davis hit the field. All things changed for John Elway. Because they were starting to say John Elway was a choke artist too. It's not about elite. It's not about elite quarterback play because you don't have to have elite quarterback play. When you got a great team, when you got the best team, man, good quarterback play will win you a Super Bowl. Troy Aikman. A lot of people think Troy Aikman tore it up in his first Super Bowl because it was 52-17, I believe. Go back and look at them stats. Go back and look at the box score. Go back and look at what Troy Aikman's defense did. Go back and look at what Emmitt Smith did in the short run game. Go back and look at what all these players did around Troy Aikman. Boy, I can't agree with you on that, man. You don't need elite quarterback play. And again, I'll dispute you every single time. I don't care what you're talking about. We've already done this, Ghostface. You late to the party. The interception that Dak Prescott threw against the 49ers was so early in the game. If that wipes your team out, your team didn't deserve to win in the first place. Your team didn't deserve to win. If first half turnovers destroy you, you're not good enough. Period. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. Because in those 49ers, in the 49er game, Cowboys came back and got their own turnover. We've already done this, Ghostface. You late to the party. We already went through those games. Play by play, we went through them. It wasn't the interceptions against the 49ers. It wasn't. It wasn't. The Cowboys overcame those. Got their own turnover. Got their own points off turnover. Dak Prescott got their own points off turnovers. Yeah, Dak Prescott did that. No, we got outcoached. We got outcoached Didn't have the players, got outplayed. It is what it is. Lisa Worley, you'll see me on video this week. I'm out with you. All right, guys. Lisa Worley got the last word. She said good night. I appreciate you. All right. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys and we talk facts. Peace.